Hey guys, this is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the Aquarius new moon happening at the first of the month, or January 31st at 10 p.m. if you live in Colorado like me. Feels like forever since I sat down and filmed a video with my camera, so I'm really excited to be able to look at you guys and have a more profound type of reading. So this seems like a big one, so I'm glad that this is the reading that I decided to come back for. So first of all, with this moon, we are experiencing a new moon, as I mentioned, which is all about new beginnings and intentions and plans and looking ahead into the future without really knowing how things are going to unfold and what's to come. What's interesting about this new moon is that, as I mentioned, it's an Aquarius, and the two direct aspects it's making are to its traditional and modern rulers. So Saturn is a traditional ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus is the modern ruler. And this new moon, so the moon and the sun together, are right next to Saturn in the sky. And I feel like this illustrates this level of commitment that we're entering into. And I kind of want to backtrack before I talk about the future and talk a little bit about what has been happening up until this point in time. So first of all, obviously everybody knows about the vid. This occurred when Saturn and Pluto aligned in the sky. So Saturn is inherently a part of this story of the unfolding disaster that we experienced as a society. And so Saturn can be this kind of strict ruler in a way that redirects society and your life. And Saturn is a planet that is typically in charge of the biggest chapters and turning points of our life, good and bad: getting married, buying a house, getting a divorce, losing a parent. These larger chapters in our life that we remember forever, that leave this lasting impact, are often marked by Saturn transits. And so when Saturn aligned with Pluto, it marked this new chapter in all of our lives as a society, where everything was being torn down, which is Pluto, and then over these last 2 years being rebuilt. But we really haven't started the rebuilding phase. We've kind of been in this phase of the 10 of Wands, where we're all kind of just floundering around, feeling really overburdened by the state of the world. And I think a lot of us, especially with Venus moving retrograde all of January, which thank God it's finally direct at this new moon, because let me tell you, it brought about so many feelings of lack. I saw many breakups, people coming back together, breaking up again, people coming back together. I saw people's homes destroyed in fires, and people losing loved ones, people losing all of their things and things that they care about, to a point where they have to reevaluate what is really important in their lives, what really matters at the end of the day. And I think even though we have done a massive reevaluation, a lot of us still have felt maybe more depressed over this last month than usual, or more pessimistic, because whenever Venus retrogrades, it has that ability to take out the juice of the fruit and just leave this dry, kind of floppy mess behind for us to savor, which life is not fun when Venus is not in our lives. Venus is joy, it's connection, it's intimacy. And so what I love right now is, now that Venus has gone retrograde, we're going to see now during this new moon that it's aligning with Mars, and it's bringing Venus back to life in so many different ways, and bringing all the juice and even more, a surplus, back to the situation. And so I feel like all this difficulty and separation, because the reason why Saturn is a traditional ruler of Aquarius is because Saturn is the planet of boundaries and separation. It defines one thing from another and separates it. And it prefers isolation many times. And it can leave us feeling isolated. And so what I think is what we've been going through is a long period of isolation. Even when we're with people, just the way our society has been structured has not really allowed for us to cultivate intimate relationships as well as we normally would. And so I feel like that contributes to that Five of Pentacles, and then Venus went retrograde, and it kind of made everything worse before it got better. And I feel like this new moon, now that Venus is direct, is marking this brand new beginning where things might not feel immediately better, but everything really is different. And I think what's happening now is that we still might be like slightly traumatized from feeling separate, from the world collapsing, from the difficulties that we experience with Venus retrograde in our relationships. And I think now we are getting some kind of new beginning to sink our teeth into, to bring us hope. And that's why I pulled the Page of Cups. Some new offering in our lives. And for a lot of us, it's going to be something emotional, something that is in regards to relationships, new connections, new friends, a new partner. I think a lot of us will initiate some kind of new dynamic, especially over the next 2 months when Venus is with Mars. But even if it's not something specifically regarding other people, which I think it will be, I think many of us are also entering into a new path that feels really inspiring to us, that feels really uplifting to us, and maybe feels like a little bit out of reach in a way. And so I think that this new moon, because it's conjunct Saturn, is asking us to commit to a really this larger vision, or this more optimistic future, in a really serious and responsible way. Like, I think essentially what happened was we broke down and then got really bad during Venus retrograde to see what we really, really want out of life. So for example, a family member of mine, I love them, they lost their job, and now they've been talking about this dream that they've had to sell all their stuff and go on an RV and just travel around the United States. So they've been talking about that for years, but now that Venus retrograde hit, they lost their job and all this bad stuff started happening. It was like it really made that serious for them. It made them realize that they have to do this, and they have to create a plan, and they have to know when they're going to leave and what they're going to do and how they're going to make it work, and not just talk about their dreams one day. And I think that's what's happening right now, is like this moment in time is when we've been all reality checked and bashed around by the universe, so that we can really sink, like push our heels down. Like, you know, when you're riding a horse and you kick your heels into the sides, I feel like that is what we're trying to do, and grasping on really tightly with our thighs so we don't fly off. Because we are finally trying to not just walk towards our goals, think about our goals, stand there looking at our goals, but run towards it with purpose, dedication, and precision and strategy. So, and that's why I pulled the Emperor card. All the masculine things that Saturn represents, that's what this new beginning is about. It's about us reaching towards this higher divine vision, this inspiring new beginning, relationship or otherwise. I think it's relationships and long-term goals, or both. So doing that in a really disciplined way. And I think it's through this action, through moving towards what we want without looking back, without having enough time or thinking to create fear or to create procrastination. It's like you're just acting. You don't really have, when you're moving ahead and you have so much to do and you're on your goals and you're completing things on your to-do list, you don't really have time to question everything and to feel fear and to feel anxiety. And so that's what I think is gradually going to start happening as we become more disciplined in the pursuit of our passions and interests and goals, the things that we've had for a long time, because Saturn is about time. And being with the moon, which is linked to our past, our emotional core, what makes us who we are, I think it's drawing about these dreams and these visions of ourselves that we have been sitting on for a long time. These are not brand new beginnings in terms of new ideas. It's reigniting what was always there within us that we've maybe half-assed done, or maybe haven't tried at all. And now it's telling us to go all in with every ounce of our being. And that is how we heal with this Temperance card. That action, moving forward, is how we're going to heal. But it is making a square to Uranus, so expect the unexpected. The modern ruler of Aquarius, doing things differently, doing things in a way that breaks the mold of how we've always done them. So if you have tried to pursue some passion and goal, have you done it in one mode? Have you been inside your comfort zone? Are you pursuing more of the same thing? How can you do things differently? And that's the biggest thing here, and it's a square with the moon and Uranus. So this is going to imply that however we need to bring about this change is going to instigate some kind of resistance within us. And we're going to have to transform as an individual in order to be able to face these challenges, in order to be able to do things differently. We are going to have to change as people. So really profound time. I feel like this is truly marking the very beginning of a chapter for us, but it's the beginning of something old. And it's the beginning of something that is so much a part of us and the fabric of our destiny and what we're meant to do here on this earth, and this next step in this next chapter of our life, that I feel like it's just us almost coming home to ourselves in this really poetic and beautiful way after this kind of tragedy that we've all been experiencing and trauma that we've been experiencing for so long. So let me talk about the other aspects happening in the sky. We also have Mercury and Pluto conjunct, trining the North Node in Taurus. I'm going to make a whole video about the nodes switching signs and kind of look at that for each of the zodiac signs. So keep a lookout for that. But Mercury and Capricorn, all these, there's so many planets right now in Capricorn. So what does this entail? What is this calling to us? Or what's coming to our mind, essentially? Because Mercury is about our thoughts. Well, Mercury in Capricorn is asking us to create a plan and also to revise old plans, or to re-look at and examine from a more critical eye how we've approached things. And that square to Uranus is helping us bring in that change through discomfort and staying the same in stagnancy. The conjunction with Pluto is getting us almost obsessed with creating a level of stability within our lives. And I pulled the 9 of Pentacles for this. So I feel like we are just getting hyper focused on what we need to do. And Pluto is giving us the mental resilience to surpass these levels and these layers that kept being a ceiling for us. Pluto also can bring about the fears. It can bring about the anxieties, the worries, the things from the past, but all to be worked through so that we can transcend them and not have it comprise that ceiling that I'm talking about. And Pluto helps us look more deeply into our own soul and to the real meaning behind why those things were stopping us, or why we were staying in our comfort zone. Basically, all of the underlying mush that was behind our previous reality, the things hidden beneath the surface, the swampy lands that were uncharted or basically not looked at, essentially. And with the trine to the North Node in Taurus, it's through evaluating these aspects, through moving to the swamp, the murky waters, that we can start to forge and enter onto this path of our destiny. Again, Taurus, it's all about security, stability, finances. So a lot of us are having new financial beginnings or realizations about how we can create more security in our lives in some fashion. And a lot of this is around self-worth and confidence, because that's typically one of the biggest things that stands in the way between us and our success, is our level of worthiness that we feel we deserve. Venus is also conjunct Mars in Capricorn. So these planets are going to be hanging out for a while together, like 2.5 months. I need to look it up. I should have done that before, but a while. So this is really exciting. As I mentioned, Venus has been retrograde, so now it's finally being reinvigorated by Mars. And Venus and Mars are like the sun and the moon. They're the masculine and then the feminine coming together. So they create harmony and balance. So not only do we have the sun and the moon coming together for the new moon, but we also have Venus and Mars. So there's so many things that I pulled for this. One of them being just so much about love and relationships, because Mars is our key motivator to go after what we want. And with Venus there, what we want is love. What we want is connection. What we want is harmony. The things that we were drained of so much in January, focusing on what we value, how to survive, how to get by, reevaluating everything in our lives. Now, we've done the reevaluation. We know what we stand for, what we want, what we're looking for. We have a solid foundation to build upon. And now we're trying to go out and find those connections to build something upon. And it's going to be longer lasting because we've had this entire month to do a deep self-analysis and check-in about ourself and our needs and our future and our current relationships. So anytime we're building upon a really strong foundation and being healthy within ourselves, understanding ourselves, it has so much more potential to last until time. And I pulled the Knight of Cups, which I think a lot of us are going to be meeting, future partners, or going to be connecting more deeply to our partners. We're going to have new beginnings with the people in our existing people in our lives, as well as find other soul groups that were meant to create this new reality with us. This vision that we have for our lives that's going to create more security for us is going to be propped up by and helped through these relationships. And that's why this is coming in at this moment. It's so critical. We have the Lovers and the Ace of Cups. Again, these soul unions, these souls that we have likely known before this lifetime, that we were going to meet up with them at this phase of our lives, when we were ready to finally tackle things without fear. And I think it's just going to bring us so much emotional fulfillment to be able to finally manifest relationships that feel like they are giving us what we deserve. With the Six of Pentacles, that create a sense of equality. These are complete divine matches, people who get you. They might be different than you, but they get you, and they're here to help you. And with this Magician card, I think they are here to help us become better manifestors in our own life. And we will do that for them as well. Venus and Mars is making a trine to Uranus. So these relationships are coming in out of the blue or in unexpected ways, or the people that we attract are just different than we're used to, but they are bringing about serendipitous events or connections. So talking to someone one day about something going on, and then they randomly give you the solution. Or you meet someone randomly at a party and they introduce you to a ton of new people when you're feeling super lonely, which happened to me over the summer or the fall. So having these serendipitous things that kind of fill in the gaps and the voids of what we need in our life is going to be happening really strongly, because Venus is an exact trine with Uranus. So they are speaking in harmony with each other in a really strong and profound way. On top of that, Mars and Capricorn is also sextiling Jupiter. So not only are Venus and Mars together, but now they're also sextiling Jupiter. So, or at least Mars is, but Mars is giving that energy to Venus anyway. So I asked Spirit, what is this? Because I already feel like I know what it is, but Spirit just confirmed. We have the Empress and the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is all about these kind of blissful feelings. It's about healing our inner child. There are two cards of healing here, the Temperance and the Six of Cups. So I think that this is a really healing aspect, because we're going to feel like life has more possibilities, more potential, and more abundance. And it's because we can see a more optimistic future that we are energized by it, which is Mars. And Jupiter gives us that vision that is connected to our divine purpose and our innate divine wisdom from past lives. So we are energized by it. We are taking action based off of that higher wisdom. And it's going to allow us to have the capacity to create what we're striving to create. So that's essentially what I'm seeing for this Aquarius new moon. It looks really, really beautiful. And I think that this is what we need. You know, we've been cut down for so long. To me, this is the beginning of the turning point. I will say it is a new moon, so we can't get too excited about it being everything all at once. You know, it's Saturn is conjunct this moon. Uranus is squaring it. There is that level of things, of frustration, of things not moving as quickly as we would like, but it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and how much better we're going to be feeling now that we have this healing opportunity. So I really feel like it's so much more than just a goal. It's a revival, it's a regeneration or rejuvenation. And it's the rest and the support and the love and the vision that all of us need and that all of us are going to be fighting for. So go ahead and stay tuned for each of your rising signs, which is coming up now. And before we hop off to that, I did want to say, if you want to learn astrology with me, you can check out my membership, the North Node Society, linked in the description box below. And if you want a reading from me or a tarot, like astrology or tarot card reading, that'll also be linked in the description box below. Thanks, guys. Bye. All right, up first we have Aries rising. So Aries, this this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 11th house. I just pulled a bunch of cards for you off the screen or off the video. And there's quite a lot of intense energy coming up. And if you watched the intro, which I highly recommend that you watch the intro, you'll see that I really feel like this new moon is a particular turning point, not only in the process of our healing, but in the process of our life developing and changing in a really pivotal way. And you guys have been kind of having this long journey in regards to your friendships and your relationships, and possibly even your hopes and dreams as well. Before I get into any of your reading, I do want to look up Malachite specifically. That's a card that I pulled for you, so I want to read to you what that says, and then I'll kind of fill in the rest. You've still got a lot to learn about yourself. Malachite is here to remind you that you're in process. Take it easy on yourself. Your guide sent Malachite with a message to not push yourself too hard or to be too harsh with yourself. It's okay to be a work in progress. Spoiler alert, the process is never complete. Parts of it become accomplishments, but then new goals and milestones will immediately arise, and that's the nature of life. Instead of attempting to become a finished product of perfection, work to polish yourself to evolve into a tool of positivity in your life. Break through old habits that don't honor your rad self, and starting with the idea that you need to become perfect, whole, and complete right this second. You are already all those things because you're in the process, not in spite of it. When you learn this, the whole world opens up. Okay, I do honestly see... I do see this like journey that you're going through, and it's interesting because this 5 of Cups was next to the Malachite card, and so I kind of feel like the 5 of Cups is talking about you, and also next to it was Chiron. So surrounding this card about perfectionism and being hard on yourself is a card about healing and then seeing the glass half empty, and I feel like it's talking about seeing the glass half empty with yourself. And it's interesting because sometimes Saturn can do this to us, especially by transit, having it on your moon, or particularly your moon. We tend to, or even Venus, we tend to feel just a lot heavier and a lot more self-critical. And having Saturn conjunct this moon in your 11th, the 11th is all about our long-term visions. So what we want out of our life, what we think that we should be, like, could achieve, and what would bring us some sustainable happiness. And with Saturn there, it's possible that you guys could be maybe a little bit more down on yourself. Maybe you feel like you should be further along that path. Maybe you feel like you're not where you want to be, or like where you currently are is just harder or not as fulfilling as you'd hoped. Because I did pull this Four of Cups, and the first thing that I thought of when I saw this was just like dullness. So I do feel like some of you guys could be experiencing a certain area of your life, in a way that it could be relationships, but I feel like it could be anything really, that you're thinking about long term. The Four of Cups to me is saying that there's some area of your life that you guys feel like is not living up to your standards, and I feel like it's not as exciting for you, or not as fulfilling for you as you would want it to be. And the Four of Cups is preceded by the Eight of Swords, which is all about negative thinking, anxiety, getting caught up in our own head. So you have a lot of this like mental energy, which all of these things are about perception. The Eight of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Five of Cups, all have a distorted perception of reality. So one is worrying too much. Another is not seeing, the Five of Cups is not seeing the good that's in your life and overvaluing or overemphasizing the bad. The Four of Cups is about not seeing, also kind of about not seeing like what's good in your life, what blessings are here in this chapter for you, and being a little bit disengaged from opportunities that are in your life when they're not like feeling exciting anymore, or yeah. And so I kind of feel like that, I think that a lot of this is career related, because you have Mercury and Pluto in the 10th house conjunct, and all of this is like obsessing about career, over analyzing and worrying about career and your life path and where you're going. And I think already with the new moon being in the 11th, being this future sighted moon, I feel like it's having a lot of us analyze where we are in relation to that. And I just feel like your career especially, or some kind of objective, because the 10th isn't always career, it's some kind of goal or objective we're working towards. Some kind of objective is like maybe not as fortuitous as you want. And this could be past energy, like this could be something that you've already overcome, or you could be in the process of healing it, or you could be experiencing it presently. But I just feel like for a lot of you guys, it's almost like re-engaging and reconnecting to your life and appreciating what you currently have, even if it's not where you want to be, or even if it doesn't always feel as exciting or as fulfilling as you might want it to be. We have Venus conjunct Mars in the 10th, and it's making a trine to Uranus in the 2nd. And I do feel like this is what's going to help facilitate this healing and re-engagement and reinvigoration with life into your path and your goals and your career and your objectives. And with the trine to Uranus in the 2nd, I feel like this is giving you guys this potential to meet new connections, new people that will help reinvigorate you. And it's through those new relationships that help guide you towards your goal that you're going to have changes in your possible financial status, as well as your general sense of self-worth and security. And even maybe you'll meet people who will help you lean into and develop new parts of yourself or new skills, or even reawaken new skills from past lives. And I pulled the part of fortune increase and the Magician card. So I definitely feel like you guys have a potential to manifest greater abundance in your life. This might not be something that happens at this new moon, but these relationships and this trine with Uranus can predict that at some point there can be a turning point where you have the potential to earn more through what you're doing. The moon is also square. The moon and Sun are also squaring Uranus in the 2nd house. So I feel like you guys might. I just get this feeling that you guys feel like you're stuck in what you're doing, or like trapped or weighed down. And again, this might be past feelings that you're overcoming. But with the square to Uranus, it's like you want to leave, but there's also that element of, what about my money? That could create instability in my like financial status. So some of you guys might be having that question. That might not be for all of you. But this is really here to, again, help plug you back into your life so you can feel better about what you've already committed to and not try to rush the process and be somewhere else. Because I do feel like you guys are putting in a lot of work right now in your career so that you can achieve something greater for yourself long term. So it's kind of like you're being like the pack mule right now, going up the mountain. But then once you get up to the mountain, there's like this incredible resort and you get fed every day of the year and everything is great. So I feel like there's a level of breakthrough that you're working towards, and so the energy building up to that can be really heavy or intense at times. You guys also have Mars in the 10th house, sextiling Jupiter in the 12th. And I feel like it's giving you this ability to transcend this experience. If this has been your past energy, this 7 of Wands is telling me that you are a phoenix rising from the ashes with Jupiter's support in the 12th house, the most spiritual house. You're being given divine support to help you surrender to this process in your career and allow, or your goals, and allow things to unfold as they are, while also feeling more inspired and more alive than before. Because I think that you know that you're working towards something long term. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Aries. I hope that this resonates. If it does, let me know by giving me a like or commenting down below. And if you're interested in learning astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society, linked in the description box down below, which I highly recommend that you check out. We're doing some fun calls this month about all of the planets, and I think I'm going to add some new calls about like questions and reviewing charts. So if you're interested in that, let me know or sign up down below. And if you want an astrology reading, of course, I always offer those, as well as tarot readings, so you can check that out, my offerings. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Taurus rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 10th house. And I mean, it's interesting to have this moon there because we have been, going through it in terms of Aquarius energy. Saturn being in this sign, Jupiter no longer in this sign, but just Saturn kind of just making us work super hard for things in our life right now, especially for your career. You guys have been probably feeling this responsibility and this level of commitment to your goals. And I think that this new moon is going to give you a reimagined way of going after certain goals that might have been on your mind. So maybe something that you've done in the past, reimagining it and doing it in a different way or a better way. Or if you've been wanting to do something in your career that you haven't fully pursued, or you've only done it like half-assed, really going all in. This is something I talked about in the intro, which I highly recommend you watch. But I just feel like Saturn right now is giving us the opportunity to really further commit, to not give up. And I feel like you guys, I feel like you guys have already been kind of having that to an extent, but it's asking us to do things in a different way. And I think what it's asking specifically is for you guys to change. Because Saturn is with this moon is saying, let's go all in, let's commit to this, let's put in that sweat equity. But then the moon is squaring Uranus in your first house. And this has been happening all of 2021 and will continue, but separating in 2022. What does that mean? Saturn square Uranus in your sign is going to ask you to make changes to the old ways that you've done things. But the ways especially that are more internal or more personal to you. So not just your behavior, but your thoughts, your beliefs, the way that you perceive life, the way that you make decisions and move through life. All of those things are meant to be changed or looked at. Don't change everything, change the things that aren't working, the things that are stagnant. And that was something that you were posed with as a question all of 2021. What do I need to change to move forward, to have success? But it wasn't time. It was a time for evaluation, but with Saturn squaring it and being so strong in the sign of Aquarius, it wasn't the time for you to have those breakthroughs. It was maybe little breakthroughs here and there, but not the progress that you were looking for. 2022, it's finally separating. And this means that the energy of moving quickly isn't there, but progress is there like we haven't seen it before. We are finally on the other end of the hill, and we are starting to overcome some of those challenges of the past, and we are actually starting to make some changes that stick. But it's going to take some trial and error. It's going to take some continued reevaluation all of 2022 and steadfast commitment to becoming the best and most adaptable version of ourselves, which is a challenge for you as a Taurus rising, which is not the most adaptable sign. But with the North Node in your sign right now, it is giving you the potential to grow and to flourish into a new version of yourself, one that is more secure by being okay with change, one that's more self-assured and content because of the resilience that you've worked hard to achieve throughout all of 2021. And I feel like that's what truly this ending card is about. This ending and beginning, I think it's an ending to the way that you were. And I think Saturn with this moon is just kind of confirming that. It's saying, let's close this chapter and start anew. And it was always your destiny with this Yod card. It was always your destiny to have these years be a little bit more challenging, but to push you to grow and make certain changes that you never would have done. You never would have stepped outside of your comfort zone to this extent as a human if we didn't have this perfect concoction of astrological and world events. So really beautiful, really profound. I feel like you guys are having just a new beginning in your career in general. And I think you're going to realize that things move a lot quicker when you've made certain changes. So I feel like with this Page of Swords, it's realizations about yourself. With Mercury and Pluto in the 9th house in Capricorn, this is all about self-discovery. The 9th house is my house of people who are travel influencers, people who are personal growth experts, coaches, teachers. You guys are coming in tune with that side of yourself, and you're having this awakening about the things that you need to change and adapt to. And the Page of Swords is totally great with adapting. She goes out into the environment and she's like water. She molds to her container. And she knows exactly how to move like water, to flow freely. And as she adapts and flows freely, she finds that she makes the most progress in her life with this 8 of Wands. There's willpower, there's intent, and there's that traditional Taurus stubbornness towards your goals, but not stubbornness about how you achieve them and who you are in the process. That is what needs to adapt, because Uranus in your first house is asking you to. And with this 4 of Swords, this to me is further clarification that you guys are going within and doing some really deep self-reflection about your self-beliefs, your values, like your long-term goals, and how you fit into that. Are you the person today that you need to be to get to that place? Probably not, because you already would be there, right? So what needs to change within yourself in order to reach that? And that 4 of Swords is that reflection process. And you guys also have Venus conjunct Mars in the 9th house in Capricorn. So love this in terms of creating the most optimistic, expansive kind of relationships. This is a really good teacher-student dynamic. So like finding relationships with other people that can enlighten you, who can coach you and mentor you through this process of transition is highly encouraged. And with the trine with Uranus, for the exact trine with Venus and Uranus in the first house, is saying it's through these relationships that your truth will be reflected back to you, and then you'll know what to adapt or change. I think it will be harder to know just on your own, to be frank. Mars in Capricorn in the 9th house is also making a sextile to Jupiter in the 11th. Again, calling in friends, calling in community, and people that can uplift you. With the 6 of Pentacles, I feel like you're entering into this moment of giving and receiving. So it kind of depends on where you are in your journey. But I feel like a lot of you will be receiving help in terms of your career, personal growth. People might be literally giving you money. And then if you are in a place where you are very financially abundant, you might be the one giving back to your community more, creating more connections, and feeling really inspired by the people around you. And again, all this is about your path, your purpose, your identity, your career, because I pulled the Sun card. It's dealing with, this moon is in the 10th and Uranus is in the 1st, the biggest energies. 10th house career, 1st house identity. That's exactly, the Sun stands for both of those. So it's such a core aspect of your life that's changing. So I'm going to finish up by talking about this fluorite card. I'm just going to look up what it says and read that to you. Oh, I just opened right up to it. The flawless guidance of fluorite is no joke. This stone comes forward to let you know that you've got to connect the head, heart, and soul. You can't make fully informed or discerning decisions from just one of these places of processing. Fluorite was designed to perfectly connect mental cognition, intuitive vision, which is the 9th, all this energy in the 9th house, and emotional intelligence. These are the 3 most fruitful and essential points of your being for converting insights into action. And that's what I get with this Page of Swords, followed by the 8 of Wands. Page of Swords is insight, 8 of Wands is action. But then right after that is the 4 of Swords, which is reflection, contemplation, emotional and intuitive connection to your guides. So it's really pairing all 3 things that this fluorite is talking about. Operating from just one of these points gives you only a partial picture. It's like trying to drive to your destination with one eye open in the dark without a map. Not going to work. You must align the mind, third eye, and heart in order to act from a place of pragmatic, empowered, and compassionate wisdom. So that is your goal right now. You have to change these certain aspects of yourself, right? There are certain things that you need to do differently. And the only way that you're going to know how to do it differently is by A, having others in your life reflecting back to you what some of those changes could be, even if it's just by observation or conversation, a mentor, whatever that is. Other people are going to be a necessary mirror for you. And B, connecting your mind, your heart, and your third eye, or your soul, as I say. So having your strategy, feeling it out, and then asking your guides or being spiritual and kind of connecting it to a more divine purpose. If you are just taking action and trying to change based off of your mind, you're going to, I think, fall short or be disappointed in the outcome, because it's only through this process that I've mentioned with the cards that you can achieve this, finally, like the universe reciprocating. So just kind of keep that in mind. You guys are going through some really big up-levelings, and it takes a lot of effort and discernment to make sure that the changes you are now instigating are completely in alignment with all of your faculties, intuitive, spiritually, and mentally. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Taurus rising. If this resonates, please let me know by liking and commenting down below, especially your comments. I love them. If you're interested in learning astrology, check out my membership, the North Node Society. We have a lot of fun, exciting calls this month. Tonight we are doing a human design intro call, and we are going to be doing, I think, is it Jupiter next? This month in February. And yeah, it looks really fun, so definitely join in the description box below. And if you want an astrology reading or a tarot reading, I have my offerings linked there as well. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have my fellow Geminis. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 9th house. So I'm really hoping that that means that there will be a new level of optimism, which is interesting because this new moon is conjunct Saturn, which typically brings pessimism. So maybe they'll just kind of balance each other out into a neutrality. But let's see what the cards have to say about it. But generally, when I see something in the 9th house, it's an opportunity for growth and pushing outside of your comfort zone. It makes me think of the Page of Wands or the 3 of Wands, a sense of adventure, going into new territory, the Three of Wands is probably more accurate. And I just see this image in my mind of a boat traversing the ocean, not knowing which foreign lands it's about to step into. And that's what I feel like we're doing, Geminis. I feel like we're having this new beginning, this new territory emerging where we might not know what to expect. And with Saturn there, we are doing our best to create a plan for the unknown. We're doing our best to create a strategy and act with diligence and integrity and discipline. And it's also squaring Uranus in our 12th house. So we are leaving the past behind. And I think a lot of us are awakening to the ways in which we have kept ourselves limited or kept ourselves small or self-sabotaged or sacrificed ourselves in some way for others, taking away from the potential that we had. And so I think that a lot of us are transcending our limitations, breaking free from the shackles, but not in a way that feels good. It's going to feel liberating in the end, but it's going to build up this feeling of, I mean, all of 2022 has this kind of energy signature where it's building up this feeling of, I just can't do this anymore, till we get to a breaking point and we realize how to change it and maybe what has been holding us back. The Seven of Swords, that's so crazy because this is all about the unseen sabotaging oneself. So like the things that you lie to yourself about, the things that you choose not to look at, that's all Uranus in the 12th house. And this is about awakening that or realizing that in a very enlightened way. And again, I don't think that this is all at once. This Saturn is squaring Uranus for all of 2022, but it's separating. It's squared it for all of 2021, so we were deep in the trenches of denial or self-affliction. And now in 2022, we're finally like edging our way out of there, but it's not going to be just this all at once process. We have the Three of Swords. Okay. I feel like a lot of the things that we're trying to move away from are trauma responses. Like imagine if you went on a plane and you flew to a country and then you just had the worst time, and on the plane ride back something went wrong and the plane almost crashes, and you just build up this trauma around that experience. And then trying to do something that puts yourself out there to go to this foreign place again, to go on a plane again, you might just not try it. You might just make up all these excuses and lie to yourself and worry about what would go wrong and why you can't do it. And so I feel like a lot of what we're experiencing now is trying to overcome some of those past traumas or not act from a trauma response. Because we are trying to create this new path and going this new adventure. But it's like every time you try something that feels like a past experience, like it feels uncomfortable, like you're pushing yourself like you did in the past, it's going to bring up those times that it didn't work, that you failed, that life wasn't on your side. And you're going to question, well, this Eight of Swords, you're going to question, well, how do I know it's not going to be the same? And you might not even actively question it. You might just have so much anxiety and worry and fear about new experiences, but not think about, hey, it's actually coming from this past trauma. Because the Seven of Swords here and Uranus, the square with Uranus in the 12th house, is saying that a lot of this past trauma is stored in the unconscious mind. And we are operating from it without even full awareness, but we do have the awareness of the fear and the anxiety and the overthinking. But we think it's just about this present moment, when in reality, it's our mind trying to protect us from re-experiencing things in the past. And so I feel like you guys were given the opportunity right now to have a brand new emotional beginning, a Page of Cups. the very beginning of the cup suit, which is all about, again, emotions, feelings, intuition, creativity, spiritual connection. So we're getting a brand new slate in that area of our life. And this brand new beginning is bringing up some anxiety. So it's this process of needing to overcome it and become optimistic. And with Saturn conjunct this moon in the ninth house, we're not just going to get optimistic through beliefs and through thinking. Not with the Eight of Swords. We're going to get optimistic with Saturn on this moon through our action, through our choices, through our discipline, through our dedication, through our persistence. It's not just going to make the past go away. We have to show ourselves, prove to ourselves that if we can just try our best to believe, but keep taking action no matter what, and we start to see new things coming up for us and things change, that is what actually releases the fear, because your brain is given new information as you see, oh, hey, like, I just tried this thing, I just went on this flight and the plane didn't crash and the trip went well and I loved the people there. And I just pulled air elements communicating. This is your element as a Gemini. So I think a lot of this, not as much about communicating per se, I mean, I will talk about that in a second, but I really getting this feeling of like the mental worry and the anxiety. We do have the capacity to control that. I mean, Mercury is with Pluto and Capricorn in the 8th house, so there is this kind of obsessive quality to this, especially about, again, our traumas, because the 8th house is where we store trauma. So we have this like really interesting mix of the moon squaring Uranus in 12th, bringing out the unconscious part of the trauma, and then the Mercury and Pluto in the 8th bringing out the what is on the surface, or aware, like what is available for us to access about that trauma. So I think a lot of us are communicating about, maybe with a therapist or a friend, about certain fears that we've had from the past, or certain things that have happened to us, or certain fears that we're having about the future. And we're having a lot of realizations and like really deep unearthing of the roots of this problem with Mercury and Pluto in the 8th. Very, very powerful placement. Very prone to anxiety and worry. And it can feel like a little bit of a mental crisis. But I think it's ultimately really powerful for overcoming something that has been a roadblock for some time now. And again, it's an air element, so ultimately we do have the capacity to direct the air, direct our thoughts. And I think it's through communicating and opening up and airing them out that they do start to redirect in our lives, because we'll start to realize where things come from and they have a different kind of hold over us when that happens. You guys also have Venus and Mars in the 8th house conjunct, making a trine to Uranus in the 12th. So Venus and Mars, I think for a lot of us, has been about is going to be about relationships. Reinvigorating our relationships. But it's interesting because I feel like you have to reinvigorate your relationships with being in the 8th and trining. This Venus is in an exact trine with Uranus in the 12th. You're reinvigorating your relationships by examining and releasing this trauma, or like these negative experiences, or this mistrust that you've developed from past pain. So it's a lot about facing the past to move forward for you guys. A lot of mental activity, a lot of crisis and worry and catastrophizing. I think a lot of us are catastrophizing at some point until we realize we need to get a hold of our mind, so we could let our mind kind of take us away. I pulled the Dioptis. If anyone knows how to pronounce this crystal, can you let me know with phonetics down below? Okay. Dioptis. Let's see what that says. This Dioptis comes to let you know that you already have the answers within you. A partner to the heart chakra, Dioptis tunes into your ultimate GPS to connect you to answers from a place of compassion and emotional truth. I think truth is a really key word here. With Mercury and Pluto in the 8th house and Venus and Mars in the 8th house, truth is inescapable at this time. Like the raw, honest reality of your life, your situation, how you're contributing it to it mentally. And just like, again, the roots that lie underneath all of what's happening in your life right now. It's like all this truth being unearthed and faced. And it can be quite dark. It can be quite dark at times. But it's the truth that sets you free. And that's why Venus and Mars is trining Uranus in the 12th for ultimate liberation from like the samsara. I think it's samsara, like that wheel where you just kind of reincarnate and go through the same issues again and again and again. It's like this truth, even if uncomfortable, even if dark, illuminated is what is going to break that cycle and create an end and a new cycle to emerge. One more, hopefully optimistic, but who knows? You are seeking these vital questions of yourself for a reason, and the answers are ready to come forward. Again, deep questioning, deep internal processing. Best time to have a therapist is right now. Dioptis will help you to coax them out into the light. The stone also warns you that it's time to stop believing the bunk idea that you don't have what it takes to achieve your highest potential. That's exactly what I was saying. There's all this fear that you can't have what you want. And that's why this moon is in the 9th house telling you, you can have what you want. You just have to face the past that is creating fear around you stepping into your highest potential. Because your highest potential is available to you, but your mind is just fearful of it because of the past. This stone also warns that it's time to stop believing. Oh, I said that. Let Dioptis release you from worn out patterns, attitudes, and energy and help you to find your next steps. Worn out, habitual, old. Dioptis desires to guide you into your innate knowledge and power. Boom! Power is the right word. With all of this energy in the 8th house, which is the house of power, it's unlocking your innate power by examining these shadows and examining, in a lot of ways, your self-worth, because the 8th is opposite the 2nd. They build off of each other. So it's through this deep analysis that you can establish a stronger sense of self-worth, a stronger innate power, and belief in oneself. And Mars in Capricorn, the 8th house, is sextiling Jupiter in the 10th. So the second that you do this, you are opening up to so many more possibilities in your career. And I think that it's actually through this long-term vision of your career that feels exciting, or your goals. It doesn't have to be certain career, but just any goals or objectives. It's through that vision that you are willing to face the fire and do the work to look within yourself and see the truth of what is stopping you, or what is making you feel like you're not enough, or you can't reach something, you can't achieve something, some potential's out of your reach. It's not true. And you will see what is actually true about you. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Gemini. If this resonates, please let me know by commenting down below. Give me a thumbs up. I love reading your comments. If you're interested in learning astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society, which is linked in the description box below. This month today we're doing a human design call, and I believe this month we are doing a call on Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken. We might be on Uranus, if not. And yeah, it's super fun, and I think I'm going to start adding some monthly calls, just kind of reviewing charts, answering questions. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check that out in the description box below. And if you're interested in astrology readings or tarot readings, I also have my offerings listed down below. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Cancer. So for Cancer, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 8th house. And you have a lot of energy going on with all these planets in Capricorn in your 7th house as well. So relationships are a pretty strong focus for you right now, Cancer risings. Maybe Cancer suns as well. All right. So having a new moon in the 8th house conjunct Saturn, oh my goodness, might feel a little bit heavy. And this kind of reminds me of the reading I just did with Gemini. So you might want to watch that one too, because they have a heavy 8th house energy emphasis as well. So essentially having the moon and the sun in the 8th is giving us this opportunity to face some of our more difficult emotions to process. And the first card that I pulled was the 5 of Swords, which is actually about conflict and feeling like defeated and like no one really won in that war. Feeling like you have to recover after a difficult moment in life. It doesn't just have to be conflict. It could be like, I see this commonly with, this is like a really common breakup card. So you guys might be going through some kind of experience, especially with this Venus retrograde, where you felt like, I don't know, with all these planets moving through your 7th, like you were having a reevaluation of a lot of relationships, and I don't think that all of them maybe survived. Let me pull a clarifier. Spirit, what does Cancer rising 5 of Swords mean in this scenario? King of Swords, the Star reversed, Hierophant, and the Chariot. It's a lot. It's a lot of cards. I just wanted one card. But I just kind of feel like with the King of Swords, there was some pretty heavy realizations and conversations with people, being very honest about things that you wanted, things that you needed. And with the Star reversed, it might have felt like a certain dynamic with someone was not really going to move forward the way that you hoped. Like losing a sense of optimism in that dynamic. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be any kind of scenario involving your own self-worth or your finances. But God, I feel like a lot of you guys is going to be about relationships because of all this energy in the 7th house. So I'm going to keep talking about relationships. So I just hate to pigeonhole things because sometimes it's not about relationships. But I really feel like it is with Venus retrograde in your 7th house and the 5 of Swords. There was some kind of like defeat or conflict that you guys have been trying to resolve and realizations about it that might have disappointed you a little bit. But with the Hierophant and the Chariot, I feel like you were quick to resolve them and to find solutions, whether that meant to end the relationship, whether that meant to define certain boundaries with somebody. But it was like you were tuning in with your needs and creating some kind of commitment around what you actually needed, or defining something. Like that's what I feel like the Hierophant is us going within, but also us looking into the external in a traditional sense. Like I'm going to get this certification, I'm going to say that we're married, I'm going to commit to this relationship or end it. It's like kind of like a definite, it's like defining or definition or definitive point. So that's kind of like what I feel like happened. I'm saying like a lot. And then the Chariot card is moving really quickly from there, using your willpower to create this definition and then running with that. So some of you guys, it might have been an ending of a relationship or an ending of some kind of thing that you were in. Okay, so I definitely feel like there is an examination of that energy. With Saturn with the moon in the 8th, it's, I feel like, a recovery process that you might be going through that is hard won. Saturn makes us earn what we're going to experience on the other side. So you are going through a metamorphosis, a death and rebirth that is at the hands of your own willpower and your own energy and your own effort and your own self-discipline to analyze yourself, to face what you're feeling, and to not just run and avoid and not take responsibility and not like move into substances or other things that allow you to like avoid. I'm forgetting the word for that, which is annoying. This moon is also squaring Uranus in the 11th house. So I feel like this inner work is going to unlock a different vision for you, for your future. It's going to kind of change that. Or maybe part of this process is having you reimagine your life without this person or your life without this scenario that you were dedicated to. And I feel like that also takes courage. And so that's part of what's going on right now is imagining this different kind of future, or reestablishing different types of friendships or relationships, having changes in your connections or your future path. Pluto and Mercury are conjunct in Capricorn in the 7th house. And I feel like this is giving you guys just a really, that's a lot of cards. A really heavy dose of analysis on your relationships, maybe a little bit to the point of obsession, or like deep psychological understanding of what's going on. You're really peering into the soul of someone else or yourself in this dynamic and seeing the truth in it. And and Venus conjunct Mars in Capricorn in the 7th is going to just bring you so many beautiful new relationships. I don't feel like you guys have to worry about anything that left your life, because you are coming into an immense amount of stability. And it's interesting because I pulled the 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, which is like some of the best cards for finances, for having your ish together, for feeling really secure. And the 10 of Pentacles in particular is actually like a family card. There's a home in here. It's about you creating this new home and this new life, but you're independent in some way with this Queen of Pentacles. You're not carrying over the same kind of emotional needs. Like, you're taking care of your own emotional needs, and you're also cultivating these really beautiful relationships and communities and connections with the 10 of Pentacles that have lasting foundation well into your future. And Venus and Mars in the 7th is going to give you the energy as well as the attractability, like your ability to attract those people. And it's also trining Uranus in the 11th, which is going to mean that your whole kind of social sphere is going to drastically change. Or surprisingly change, or feel like freer and more authentic and more liberated and just much more in line with you, which is why I have the 10 of Pentacles, because these people are keepers. And then lastly, you have Mars in the 7th house sextiling Jupiter in the 9th. So I feel like these relationships are giving you this potential to feel like you can grow again and be cheerful again. And it's like rejuvenation. I said death and rebirth, and I pulled this card, endings and beginnings. This is the 8th house, which is where this moon is taking place. So, I mean, it could not be any clearer. You guys are having some reshifting of relationships, and it's through letting go and through making peace with the things that aren't working that you are making space for the things that do work in your life. Okay, I pulled a bunch of cards too many cards. All right, I pulled the Moldavite, and this is talking about feeling different. And also having a purpose, that you are here. So your differences are what makes you special and unique. And this is a new moon in Aquarius, which is all about being different and unique. So you are attracting right now people in your life who are going to help you achieve your long-term visions, especially with Uranus in the 11th. Expect the unexpected. Expect that people are going to come in and shake up your life to help you achieve some of your long-term visions and help you in this transition, because you are also meant to help the world, and so people are helping you help the world. Then we have Vanadinite, QRSTUV. Okay. This is telling you that you might have a story to write. And it's going to lift the writer's block. So this might be a message just for some of you. But with having Jupiter in the ninth and Mars actually sextiling this, you might have the potential to have a story awaken within you. Especially like someone else might inspire you somehow to get started on writing. Even if that's not something that you've really feel like you, like even if you don't see yourself as an author or writer per se, I feel like everyone has a story. And there might be something about these recent experiences that you can share. And then lastly, we have Sodalite, which tells me that you're being too hard on yourself. And Sodalite is here to help you face your shadow aspects with love, compassion, and patience. It helps you open your third eye and see yourself without the judgment and without expectations that you're constantly imposing upon yourself. Dislodge and displace the seeds of fear implanted deep within your subconscious that comparison and self-judgment feed on. Courageously face the places that require growth and give up the fear-based and negative thoughts holding you back from seeing your worth and standing in your power. That is what a new moon in the 8th house is all about. I could not have said that better. Facing the darkness, standing in your power, and being easy on yourself in that process. That is what I'm seeing for you, Cancer rising. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. If you're interested in an astrology reading, I have my offerings down below as well as tarot readings. And if you want to learn astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society. We are having so many fun calls coming up. Today we're having a preview of human design from one of our members, and we are having a call, I think, on Jupiter or Uranus next month. I can't remember, but you definitely don't want to miss that. So check that out in the description box below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Leo rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 7th house of relationships, which is interesting. Very interesting because anyway, the moon being conjunct Saturn in your 7th house, there's definitely some element, I mean, whenever we see Saturn, there's some element of commitment and a new beginning in relationships and a commitment to that relationship. It doesn't mean that you, like, everyone that is seeing this reading is going to be entering into a new partnership, but it does mean that there is some way of relating to people or the way that you engage in your current relationships that could change. It's also possible to meet new friends or connections or clients, one-on-one clients, that you are also going to change or commit deeper to the way that you relate with and interact with them or work with them. And this is also squaring Uranus in the 10th house. So these relationships have the potential to impact your long-term goals, your objectives, your career. And I think that they have the potential to bring in a lot more prosperity for you financially. So maybe there are certain people in your life that could give you different perspectives or motivate you in different ways or give you different ideas, which I kind of just said with perspective, or connections, somehow instigate a catalyst of new growth opportunities in your career, and giving you the potential to like look at your objectives and your long-term goals through new eyes. All right, so that is what I'm seeing so far. And I definitely feel like you guys are getting a new beginning that's helping you leave behind. Okay, first, there's two things I want to say. I kind of said that there is a potential that somewhere along the line, your relationships with others can instigate different kind of career objectives or visions for your career. And that's what I see here with this Devil card, which is Capricorn energy, and this Fool card, which is new beginnings. So I feel like this is basically saying everything I was just saying about having a new beginning in career. That is a potential. I also feel like this Devil card, which is about us being super hard on ourselves and negative in our thinking and pessimistic or darker, like getting stuck in these really bad habits that also kind of contribute to us being limited and not as happy as we could be. I feel like a lot of that like darker energy is lifting, because right after we have the Devil card, we have this Fool, which is like this bright sun, and he's skipping away into the future with this bag on his stick and this like beautiful dog and rose in his hand. It's like he's coming to offer his love, like this rose, and he's feeling good about this relationship that would, I don't know, it's like just this lightening of the mood, and it's a clean slate emotionally in a lot of ways. So I feel like this partnership or this friendship connection or the people in your life right now are giving you guys this kind of refreshed palette when it comes to the way that you think and feel and talk to yourself, and maybe even helping you not so much focus on like these really bad destructive habits that maybe were just there to fill a void. I feel like people are coming into your life to help create career change and more emotional fulfillment to help you overcome some of those things. You guys also have Mercury and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn in the 6th house. I also pulled the 6th house routine card. So the 6th house is about our jobs. So you guys do have a lot of career energy, potential for change and objectives. Like a deep analysis of career. Mercury and Pluto together can make you obsessed with your career, like thinking a lot about it. If it's not your career, it could be your health or your routines, like the daily tasks that you have. All of those things are kind of up for grabs when it comes to deep analysis about maybe what you want to do differently and what you might want to commit to even further. So if it's not doing something differently, which I don't know, could or couldn't be, there is some level of like obsession and moving deeper towards either your career, like working more and thinking more about it and planning and being strategic, or your health or your routines, like something like that. So I also feel like your work relationships are going to be really good, and like relationships in general are going to help your work, because Venus and Mars are also conjunct in the 6th house. So it's bringing like this level of passion and vitality and connection into your day-to-day life. So into the way that you take care of yourself, into your like work relationships, as I mentioned, and it's trining Uranus in the 10th. So I don't know, I feel like some of the things that you value and the things that in these like connections and relationships are going to help you have breakthroughs in your career. And I pulled the 9 of Pentacles, which is about reaching a new level of financial independence. And I think that that's only possible through these relationship dynamics. I think that you guys, one of the really pivotal changes that's opening this doorway up for you is the fact that you also have Mars in the 6th, sextiling Jupiter in the 8th. Because I pulled this 5 of Cups and this Tower in reverse. Which, if you know the Tower card, when it's upright, it's about things happening to you that destroy certain elements of your life. But when it's reversed, you are destroying them. And I feel like you are destroying the 5 of Cups, which is this glass half full, negative, pessimistic mindset, looking at the negative in your life more than the positive. And so Mars in the 6th, which has a lot to do with mental health already, sextiling Jupiter in the 8th is helping you release and destroy and purge this anxiety or negativity that you could have had. I feel like it's really helping you see your life in a much more optimistic way and helping you move towards being super, super, super productive. And I feel like you're going to want to be productive. Like you are going to be on board when it comes to your work and the things that you do every day. Like you are not going to be afraid to work out every day. You're not going to be afraid to hustle. It's like all these things are going to become, again, so like reinvigorated that any kind of like pessimism about your life that could have put a damper on your work or could have made you less enthusiastic to get up early and work out or whatever it is, like those things are going away now. And you're shifting your mindset and you're going all in on what you're doing. And it's also opening up doors and pathways into a longer term career objective or life objective because you're putting in so much effort now. And I pulled the Kyanite card. Let's see what is up with that. Okay. Oh, Spirit sees that unforgiveness towards yourself and others is jacking you up, so it sent you a helper in the form of Kyanite. The stone blasts through pain and guilt of the past and present so that you can stop any self-destructive behaviors. The Devil card, you guys, that's what I said. Negative thinking and self-destructive habits. Like those are going away with this Fool card. You guys, I'm getting so excited. With Jupiter in the 8th, it's like, and sextiling Mars in the 6th, it's just having the optimism and the energy and the power and the influence over yourself to make these changes over your mental health and your habits that are bad for you. Okay. It's blasting through the pain and guilt of the past and present. So this could be something helpful to really think about at this new moon. What are some pain and guilt? Like, where is that coming from and how can I release that? Also, my self-destructive behaviors. Self-destructive behaviors that are not serving you, shift back into some good old self-love. When you stay stuck in the story of your mistakes, you only compound the problem by sending negative energy towards yourself. All things that happen have a higher purpose. Your perceived mistakes are a stepping stone to grow and expansion for yourself and others. They occur and exist so that they can be overcome and learned from. So in truth, they aren't mistakes at all. They aren't mistakes at all. Everything is so purposeful. Everything from the past was leading you up to achieving success in your future and present. So they're not mistakes. They're just stepping stones. They're just chapters. And I have to tell you something. Let me finish this first and I'll tell you something. Move back into the present moment and reconnect into oneness and truth. Let those vibes show you that you and others are guiltless and you're only doing the best that you can with what you have in any given moment. Forgive yourself and be free. Wow, beautiful. I have chills first time today. Okay, I'm going to wrap up by telling a quick story. I have a friend who got diagnosed with cancer, and the diagnosis was different at first than what it's changed recently, but it was a really harsh diagnosis, and the guy was going through some difficulties in his life in general, and so he tried to commit suicide. And when my friend told me that, like, he was suicidal, I was like, this is so temporary. I feel in my heart that this is temporary for him. This is just a bad moment. This is just a bad time. Like, he can't let this end his life, you know? And then a few days later, he tried to commit suicide. He didn't succeed, and thank goodness, because everything in his life turned around in just a few days. They found out his diagnosis wasn't as bad as he thought. I mean, yes, he's still struggling with things. It's like not all better, but his life is not where he thought it was going to be. And now he's talking about helping other people in his kind of situation. So all of that to say, yeah, where was I going with that? All of that to say that I feel like, where was I going with that? Mistakes, self-destructive behaviors, the past. Mistake. So basically, the difficult things are just fleeting, just like the good times. Everything is fleeting. That's kind of the good and the bad news. So if he had acted on that and made that his destiny just for this moment of time, it would have destroyed so many people and obviously himself. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here for you guys. Like, this is telling you that the things from the past, the difficult emotions, and even these self-destructive behaviors and patterns and habits, like, all these things they're just stepping stones to get you to this full moment and this 9 of Pentacles that you have coming up ahead. So I'm seeing a lot of growth for you guys, and it's growth that's really being facilitated by the people in your life. So pay close attention to the people around you and what they're telling you and how they're making you feel and the inspiration they're giving you, because they are helping set you on this new path. Oh. So that's what I see for you, Leo rising. If that resonates, please let me know by liking and commenting down below. I love your comments. It means so much to me. And if you're interested in learning astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society, linked in the description box below. Anyway, we're having a call on, I think, Jupiter or Uranus this month. I think I might start integrating more Q&A sessions. Anyway, so if you're interested in learning astrology, check that out in the description box below. And if you want an astrology or tarot reading, that is also in my offerings down below. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have my beautiful Virgo risings, my fellow Virgo risings. So for you guys, you have this new moon in Aquarius happening in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. And it is conjunct Saturn. So talk about work. You guys are putting in that work. You might be a little bit more self-critical, a little bit more perfectionistic at this time. So just be a little bit wary of your mental health as well as burnout. But in general, I feel like you guys are committing to working really diligently, especially on getting your routine underway, if that's something that you struggle with. Getting your physical fitness in a good place, getting your mental health hopefully in a better place. I don't know if Saturn can make that a little bit harder. And you guys might even be starting some kind of new job or taking on new responsibilities. You might be taking care of someone else. 6th house has a lot to do with these weird hierarchies that we kind of experience. And so sometimes it can involve like this kind of caretaker level in our life. So there might be something where you're just taking on responsibilities for yourself, for others, for your company. Yeah, just a lot of like discipline is required at this time, but don't overdo it. Don't become too rigid that you burn out. That's my warning. This moon is also making a square to Uranus in the 9th house. Oh, one more thing though, especially with the square to Uranus and the fact that this moon is in Aquarius, it's all about doing things differently. So it's not just like, I'm going to work really hard at the things I've always done. Because guess what? It's not going to get you that far. And so if you've always done the same workout routine, if you are doing the same things at your job that you always do, there's got to be some kind of way that you can mix things up in your approach to your life, your tasks, your responsibilities, so that you have greater freedom and so that you have more breakthroughs, more flexibility, more aliveness. Because we are meant to go hard right now, but we're not meant to go hard on the old. We're meant to create a new pathway to do things. And especially because Uranus in the 9th house is opening up to this expansive vision of what you can have in your future. So it's asking you to plan strategically and act now accordingly. So the square to Uranus in the 9th is asking you to plan strategically in your future and plan differently. Have a new vision. And right after that, I have the 8 of Wands. So it's like, take action, move quickly, don't delay. Be confident in your decision making as you move forward, and you'll notice that things progress really rapidly from that place of confidence. You guys also have Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th house. So it's very interesting because the new moon is in your 6th, which is all about really working hard, being super disciplined. But as I said, don't overdo it. And then you have all this energy, Mercury, Pluto, Venus, Mars, all in your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, joy, doing things just for fun. And so you have this really interesting balance between the two of being really disciplined and hardworking and also enjoying the F out of your life and being social and doing what you want to do. And that is why I pulled the Justice card. It's having a balance between these two, because with the Virgo rising, there can be a high degree of self-control and perfectionism that I do really always want to warn against, because you guys don't have a problem working hard. It's the balance that sometimes can be harder. So just kind of keep that in mind. You're here to balance. And with Mercury and Pluto in the 5th, you might be getting clearer on what it is that actually makes you feel fulfilled and content. The fifth house is not usually what I think about in terms of that. It's like a lot of short-term gratification, but Pluto here is quite deep, soulful, intense. It knows the truth of things. And so with Mercury here being given the truth by Pluto, we're discovering the truth of really what brings us ultimate joy. And this could be in our social relationships. This could be in our hobbies and our creative functions, the things that we do, the way that we spend our time in our free time. It's like we're really discovering how to find true fulfillment in those areas of our lives instead of just kind of wandering around doing, like, putting on Netflix, like, you know, just doing things that take up time and that you kind of want to do because you're tired, but ultimately don't add much to your life. I feel like Mercury and Pluto is having us just get deeper on that. I just pulled the Nine of Swords. So this is a card about worry. Let me pull a clarifier. I got the Moon, the Eight of Pentacles, and Five of Pentacles. So I do feel like there's this kind of like catch-up game going on here with the Five of Pentacles that you could feel. And driven by the Moon, it's like this catch-up game where I feel like I don't have enough money, or I'm not doing good enough, or like just feeling like you're worried about meeting your needs, you're worried about being enough, doing enough, having enough. And because of that, that's really driven by some kind of unknown factor with this Moon card, this like part of the unconscious, which is what the Moon is about. And the Moon is also linked to our childhood, so definitely some childhood stuff going on there. And it's driving you to be very, very hardworking and mastering your skill level, which is great. But again, I really get this like really strong warning against overdoing it, because I feel like you're not, like, one part of you is working from this place of like wanting to achieve a lot in your life and having this vision and being excited about what's to come and wanting to be disciplined, wanting it, you know? But then I feel like there's also a part of you that's working really hard and it's driven by fear. Some of you guys might even be having a hard time sleeping at night. I'm a Virgo rising. I woke up at 3:33 this morning and haven't gone to bed since. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of us could be in this interesting state of really looking forward to the future with this Two of Wands and Uranus in the 9th house squaring this Moon. It's like there's so much potential that we're reaching for, but then there's anxiety around it that's like causing us to maybe have this type of burnout energy, or being like overly strict. So that's something that I feel like I really need to warn against. Like, become masterful, but don't become rigid. And that's the energy of Saturn that we have to toe the line with, because Saturn can become quite dry and quite brittle because of its fixation upon whatever it's trying to do. When at this time with Uranus in the 9th, we really need to become adaptable, and our vision has to change with us with time. It's going to unfold slowly. It's going to have twists and turns. We're supposed to be planning strategically, but also realize that we don't know what's going to happen. And so I think Saturn here can prove a little bit difficult if we become too rigid in what we expect, what we're trying to do, and trying to just like overdo it, honestly. And with Venus and Mars in the 5th house making a trine to Uranus in the 9th, I feel like it's by following your joy, discovering what it is that makes you feel alive in whatever you're doing or whatever relationship you have. It's that's going to open up those new possibilities and create those twists and turns, because you're following certain passions, certain inspirations, but it's what it helps express your soul in the most authentic way. And so you'll want to make these changes with this trine here to Uranus in the 9th. And then lastly, you guys have Mars in Capricorn in the 5th house, sextiling Jupiter in the 7th house. So very good time for relationships, especially if you are dating, you know, good time to meet a partner. I just pulled this for the last group, so I think really good time to just be out and socializing, feel like your relationships are getting along. And I just pulled the soulmate card. Some of you guys could actually be entering into a new relationship, finding a soulmate, a deep love connection. That is absolutely possible for some of you. And then let me pull one more astrology card just to wrap it all up. And I got the water element sensing. And this to me is what is going to help you balance this energy here. Because Justice card is the very first card, and I feel it very strongly in my body that you guys need to have this balance between joy and pleasure and adaptability and fun, as well as working hard and being disciplined and embodying your masculine and being strategic and planning. And what is going to help you navigate that balance is your intuition and your emotions. Sensing what's coming, sensing how to adapt, sensing what you need in the moment, while offering up a container to hold that water as well. So that is super important. Let me read the soulmate card just in case there's another message there. But I think it's talking about what it's talking about. Yeah, romantic. Embrace the highest frequency of love in your life. Whether you're single and ready to mingle or taken by a lifelong love, Spirit is sending you a sign that your love life is about to level up big time. So those of you in relationships might see your sex life improve with that sextile to Venus in the 5th. You're just gonna have more possibility of meeting people, having fun, just enjoying the people in your life. Your angels are preparing you to merge as two complete individuals with your soulmate match. You've been working hard on seeing yourself as the deserving goddess you are, and it's paying off. If you've been on the hunt for a partner, know that your guides and angels are already working on the divine details of your enchanted encounter. You will instantly recognize your sweetie by the sense that you know them from somewhere before, like a past lifetime. If you're already in a relationship, this comes up as a sign that this relationship is in fact a soulmate level love, in which there is so much love, or there's so much for you to teach and to learn. The love you share is about to deepen to new depths of devotion and blessed bliss. Lucky you. All right, my Virgo risings, that is an absolutely gorgeous reading. So if this resonates, please let me know by liking and commenting down below. The comments mean so much to me, and I love reading them. And if you want to learn astrology, then check out my membership, the North Node Society. Today, we are doing a really fun call in the membership, where one of our members is actually going to teach about human design. And then over the course of this month, we're going to have a call on, I believe it's going to be on Uranus. So lot of Uranus squares going on. If you want to discover what that means or some Uranus in your chart, definitely check it out. I have a whole astrology course there as well. I think I'll be adding a Q&A there. So if you're interested in asking some questions, meet up with me live, definitely join in the description box below. And if you want to have an astrology reading, you want it all done for you, you can check out my offerings down below or a tarot reading there as well. So I hope you guys have a really blessed day, and I love you guys. Bye. All right, so we have Libra rising next. Libra, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 5th house of romance, of creativity, of self-expression, of children. And look at that. Look at that. I just pulled the 3 of Cups. This is a card of celebration, pleasure, joy, reuniting with people, just having a good time, going to a party, chilling with friends. That is 5th house energy if I've ever seen it. Then you also have the 9 of Pentacles. So can I be you? Is that possible? You have a lot of planets in Capricorn in your 4th house. So a lot of really stabilizing energy and really asking you guys to get rooted, a strong foundation, planning for the future, knowing what you want, working hard towards something, feeling secure in your home and in your way of being and your way of operating. So I feel like all that is helping you build that 9 of Pentacles. It's really like stable root system within your life to support you and to allow you to go out and enjoy and mingle, but also feel like you have something substantial. It's not just escapism. It's true fulfillment because you've done the work on yourself and on your life and on your foundations. The moon in the 5th is also making a conjunction with Saturn. So there is a level of like committing deeply into something. So it might be for you committing deeply to feeling more joy in your life and in the tasks that you're doing. Committing deeply to your relationship with your children, to your partner, to fulfilling your emotional needs, following your own intuition. and getting serious about it. And with the Eight of Wands, I feel like this is saying that as you're doing that, you're making decisions quickly, decisively, and it's also moving you forward in your life quickly. And I do feel like with the Eight of Wands, did I say Eight of Swords? I meant Eight of Wands. You're having also a lot of options. And so you're going to have to navigate it with the Queen of Cups intuitively to know, like really feeling it out, to know what to say yes to, how to create your discernment. Because I think a lot of these options could be, they feel like they could all bring you joy. They feel like they could all be fun. Maybe they're all social events, but it's like, you know, can't say yes to everything because you have responsibilities. With Saturn there, clear quartz. Let me read what that is, and then we'll kind of go on with the astrology. What do we have for my lovely Libras? Clear quartz is here with some tough love. It's time to get crystal clear with yourself and with the universe. It helps organizing thoughts and magnifying issues or experiences in life so that you can see more clearly what the heck is going on. By giving yourself time to bring things to the forefront of your mind, you'll be able to be more laser focused on what you truly desire and wish to manifest in your life. The sensible stone is here to ask you, what is important to you? What do you value? What pieces are missing from the puzzle of your experience? Fun fact, clear quartz is known as a master healer, so it not only can help you become more transparent with yourself, but can assist you to find solutions, peace, and healing in any situation that you can't make sense of at this moment by bringing your energy centers into alignment. So this to me is saying that you really need to give yourself enough time alone. You have a lot of energy in the 4th house, but this new moon is in the 5th house. So you've got a lot of energy grounding you into your home space, asking you to reflect, go within, spend time alone to know where you want to move in your life. But the new moon's in your 5th, which is saying it's helping activate your heart chakra to, and with the Queen of Cups as well, to know what you want to build long-term with this 9 of Pentacles. So the new beginning is help activating, gets really serious about what makes you feel amazing and what you want to cultivate more of. So you need to have that time alone. But again, with the 5th house, it's activating also your social sphere. Your possibility of having lots of new invites, lots of new possibilities and opportunities. And that's why that 8 of Wands is like all these sticks are coming at you and you've got to like dodge some and then maybe grab one, the one that you want to take with you. So the clear quartz is helping you discern what you want to take on, what you want to say no to, what brings you joy. This is a lot about like defining and clarity and vision, which is all Aquarius energy, which is the new moon. Aquarius energy is seeing into the future about what you want to cultivate more of. And what you want to do differently, because all of us are needing to do something differently right now. And this new moon in the 5th house will conjunct Saturn, creating that discipline element, that responsible element of like, what do I want to birth into this world? Not just the social aspect, not just the joy, but what brings me joy that I want to birth into this world, that I want to offer others. That's what the 5th house is. It's an extension of you. That's why it's the house of children. Your child is what you birth into the world that is an extension of you. Your creative projects, your business, your books, your any idea you have or contribution to society is, when it's coming from the soul and the heart and part of you, is a 5th house topic. And so that's what we're really getting clear on right now, is how can I bring that joy and myself out into the world in a super authentic way, but in a way that is, with Saturn, becoming laser focused on it. Not allowing this 8 of Wands distractions to get in your way. Yes, having a good balance with social sphere, because that's still here, but not being overwhelmed by all these possibilities and options and distractions, but getting really clear on your vision for the future. And I just pulled the Aquarius I Know card. So again, Aquarius is saying that you need to do it differently as well. You can't just like birth this thing like you've always done. And that's why this moon is squaring Uranus in the 8th house, because there needs to be some releasing of your past self, or releasing the way that you used to do things. Let me pull some cards on Uranus in the 8th house. What's this square with Uranus in the 8th house? The 10 of Wands. Interesting. I feel like you guys were getting burnt out on your old way of doing things, and it's time for a definitive ending and a new beginning in your manner of approaching the birthing or creation process. Let me pull one more card. The Two of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. Yes. Okay. Again, I keep saying the same thing here. Balancing your priorities with these Two of Pentacles. Understanding what's really important. You don't have to change the whole way you did stuff. But definitely with the Two of Pentacles, having to throw out some old hat and then garner some new. The Two of Pentacles also means that, again, you're going to have so many varying responsibilities and options that you have to find out what you truly want to have and balance and juggle those, because it's already going to be enough with all these options. You're going to have to do a lot just to be able to maintain those without taking new things on. And then you have the Three of Wands, which is about pushing the horizons, taking risks, doing things differently. This is all that Uranus in the 8th house. I feel like this is really stretching you outside of your comfort zone and possibly poking and prodding a little bit on some insecurities in that process. But really liberating, really freeing yourself into new possibilities. These are all really good cards, except the Ten of Wands, which is an exhaustion of this old way, this old pattern. Yeah, this is exciting, you guys. With Mercury and Pluto in the 4th house, you guys might be really focused on how what you're building now can be the root or the foundation for so much more to come. You know, it's like just really making sure all of your bases are checked. Like, I am expanding myself. I'm going on this new adventure. But in that process, I also need to make sure that my boat is taken care of, that I'm dumping water out when water comes in, that I'm plugging up the holes, that I'm looking for rot, that I'm making sure there's food on the deck. So all these things are simultaneously happening. So while you're stretching yourself to new horizons, you're also making sure your foundation is solid and secure. Can you do new things, take risks, have different styles of approaching the same thing that you've done, so that you're not just being redundant, monotonous, getting stuck in an unsustainable work ethic or an unsustainable situation? Like, doing things in a way that feels really fulfilling, that feels really light, that feels really fun, that feels different and challenging, that also feels long-term sustainable. That's the kind of 4th house thing, is like, can this last me into the future? Is this a solid foundation? Am I going to get burnt out? If I take on 30 new clients just because I want to have this like new beginning in terms of my finances or whatever, like, is the way I'm making money able to sustain me long term? Can I take on that many people? Like, these are things that you need to think about with Mercury and Pluto in the 4th house, is being super honest about those foundations, making sure that you're taking care of those while you're adventuring forward and trying new manners of achieving your goals. Because if those foundations aren't taken care of, if you're trying all these new methods, but the methods are actually unsustainable, then it's like you're building this unstable future and on this unstable foundation, and it's like your boat is sinking as you're going forward. It's like, what are you doing? And Venus and Mars in the 4th house conjunct, I think, is going to probably, for a lot of you, like, reinvigorate. I'm using reinvigorate because that's really the word for Venus retrograde. The energy has been sucked dry out of Venus. Poor Venus. But now that Venus is direct and Mars is with her, it's like the pairing of the soulmates and just bringing so much revitalization back into our relationships that exist. Because the 4th house is like people that know us really intimately. So this could be really close friends. This could be your family members, like you finally wanting to see them more, or just like having so much more love for them, being motivated more to see them and connect. Or it could be, again, those people that feel like family. I think it's just bringing a lot of joy into those relationships. And with the trine to Uranus in the 8th, again, I feel like it's about having this fresh start and doing things differently in those dynamics as well. If you've always kind of had the same things that you do with the people that you love, maybe doing different things with them. If you've always kind of had the same issues with them, maybe approaching those issues differently or letting it go. You know, it's like a clean new slate, an ending and a new beginning in those relationships and your approach to them. And then lastly, Mars in the 4th is also sextiling Jupiter in the 6th. So I feel like you getting really secure in your foundation is also going to help create systems and facilitate and like create productivity and efficiency in your life. So if you know that your boat is solid and it doesn't have holes, it doesn't have water in it, it's going to move so much faster. But if you are creating something unsustainable, you're not going to create something unsustainable because you're watching this video. But regardless, it's helping facilitate productivity, efficiency, working hard, and being excited about it too, feeling good about it, feeling like your mental health is improving and your relationships are improving, those intimate relationships are improving because your mental health and your work and your vision for your work is improving. And maybe even your health as well, your physical health. So all of those things are applicable. I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that this resonates, my beautiful Libra rising. If it does, let me know in the comments down below because I love to read them, and give me a thumbs up so more people can see this video on YouTube. And if you're interested in learning astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society, and today we're having a fun reading from one of our members on human design. And then next month we're having some videos on Uranus, and then I think I'm going to be adding Q&A Tuesday or something like that, where I meet and discuss your questions and your charts and just everything interesting like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely join us. There's a full astrology course in there for you, and that's in the description box down below. And if you want it all done for you, of course I have astrology readings and tarot readings, which you can also see in my description box below. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Scorpio rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 4th house of home, family, roots, emotions, foundations, and it is conjunct Saturn. So I feel like you guys might be thinking about your long-term security with a lot more sense of responsibility, and with the square with Uranus in the 7th, I do feel like you're maybe examining relationships and how those relationships fit into that long-term vision that you have for your sense of security, emotionally, physically, financially, mentally. And I feel like you guys have been really tired, probably mentally, because you have had a lot of energy moving through your 3rd house. So you have Mercury and Pluto there, for example, in your 3rd house, and I think it can definitely cultivate a lot of worry or obsessive thinking. And you also have Venus and Mars in there, and with Saturn in your 4th house, I think it can make you really feel like you need to get your ish together. You need to feel like you are safe, you are secure, and you know how you're going to take care of things in your future. So I do feel like you're putting maybe a lot of pressure on yourself with this 9 of Wands. And I think that this new moon is helping release some of that pressure by creating a little bit of clarity or progress on this path that you're on in order to find that security. And some of that clarity may involve relationship changes with the square with Uranus in the 7th house, or changes to the way that you approach relationships. And I do think with the 3 of Swords, it can involve some possible endings of relationships that don't bring you security. I don't think that's going to be the case for everyone, but with the 3 of Swords, there is some feeling of grief or of loss. And with Uranus in the 7th, it's kind of like the moon squaring Uranus in the 7th, it's like you don't know what you're going to get. Uranus can bring new beginnings, new people, but it can also bring endings and upheavals. The word is instability for it. So let me pull one more card for the 3 of Swords. Grand Cross Provoker. Yeah, this is 4 squares in somebody's chart. So it's definitely an indicator of change, and change that comes on the back of discomfort and feeling like you just can't continue on that same way anymore. And that's what the 9 of Wands is it's a resilience, but it's like, I can't keep doing the same thing. Like, I am eventually going to get to the 10 of Wands where I'm burnt out and it's got to have some kind of ending. So I have the Four of Swords here, which is the resolution of this energy, which to me is talking a lot about you guys coming back to yourself and having a chance to rest after this change. So I feel like you guys are going to come out of this stronger and more at home in yourself, which is all what this new moon is about. And you can see this person is meditating. They have their heart here. They're connecting to their chakras. They're connecting to their heart, to their guides, to their intuitive deep wisdom. And so I feel like that's going to be you guys. Once you've cleared away some of these things that have been stagnant or unsustainable or just have ran its course, you will get to a point where emotionally you have a new beginning, because this moon in the 4th house is a new emotional beginning, is a new reset in some ways. But I do think it's going to come on the back of some kind of loss, some kind of release, or some kind of uncomfortable change that can provoke some feelings of loss in terms of letting go of the old. And you might feel uncomfortable or not really ready for that, but at the same time, like, you have to, like, your soul is requiring you to. Yeah, because that's what squares are about. It's like, on one hand, I see a resilience here, and with the 3 of Swords, an emotional attachment to where you are. But on the other hand, with this Grand Cross, it's not really possible to continue on without having some change. And the 9 of Wands also represents that at some point it's going to manifest into the 10 of Wands, where it becomes entirely unsustainable. So there is some change in your relationships or relationship dynamic, or the way that you interact with people. There's something that you're going to have to let go of or move on from or reconsider in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to, in the end, bring you a lot more emotional stability and security, because with the 4 of Swords, it's the most authentic thing to what's in your heart and what is meant for you. So I think it's ultimately going to bring you a tremendous amount of peace. As I mentioned, you're likely going to feel some level of overthinking, anxiety, insecurity, obsession with Mercury conjunct Pluto in the 3rd. It's just a very intense placement to overthink things, basically. You also have Venus and Mars there, making a trine to Uranus in the 7th. So I feel like you're also, even though you might have some chapters ending, I feel like you're also going to have some new ideas come in about relationships, like a new way of thinking about things that's going to be quite healing. With the 4 of Swords, I think it's a time of reflection, tuning in and understanding maybe some new things about people or new things that you want to create. It's just, I feel like revelations or enlightening or awakening about your thought process in regards to your relationships, because Venus and Mars in the 3rd house are pushing us to want to cultivate relationships. But the trine with Uranus in the 7th is creating that awakening process about the existing relationships, and how this current thing that you're going through is feeding into this new beginning that you're meant to have in all of your connections. So if you're releasing someone in your life, it's like you're also realizing how maybe that relationship can transform and why that came in for you and how that's helping you connect with other people. It's just, there's some kind of like awakening to this area of your life. And I feel, yeah, I definitely feel like it's an awakening, because I pulled the Knight of Swords, which is about communication, understanding, realization. These are thoughts, and they're moving quickly towards clarity. And then we have the 7 Swords upside down. So right side up, this is all about like lying to ourselves, illusion, deceit. But upside down, I feel like paired with the Knight of Swords, is saying you're quickly moving towards clarity and towards a place where you're no longer like deceiving yourself. Like, you know, like I feel like with the 9 of Wands, you were in some unsustainable situation, and you're no longer lying to yourself about that situation. You're facing it. You're becoming really in tune with yourself and what your needs are, and you're doing something about it, because this Grand Cross Provoker card tells me that you're ready for change. And then after that, we have the Temperance and the Emperor. So I feel like you guys are you're healing, and you're becoming your own inner authority. You are learning how to take care of all of your own needs. And that's why this new moon is in your 4th house of security, emotion. I said all the things, emotional, mental, financial, all the things related to the foundations of your life and your security. All those things are now being taken care of alone by you. And that's why I feel like the Emperor card is here saying is that you are stepping into a more masculine role in your life in some ways in order to heal and take care of your heart center and the feminine side, the sensitive side of yourself. So you're creating more structures, you're creating more discipline where there needs to be. You're taking on maybe more responsibility, having certain boundaries with people. So yeah, you're working on the foundations of your life and becoming your own masculine to take care of and heal your feminine. So this might be taking on certain responsibilities that you weren't before. Regardless, you are taking care of your own emotional, financial, mental needs through this experience. You guys also have Mars in the 3rd house sextiling Jupiter to the 5th. So it is possible that this can awaken new creative ideas for you. It could also open up new romantic possibilities. So I feel like it's at the very least opening up you to, if this is a romantic relationship that you're leaving, I could see you guys like having this vision for the potential partner you could be with and the happiness that you could have that wasn't quite reachable in the last dynamic. If you're not leaving a romantic relationship, I can see you guys having a lot of support from your friends, having things filling up your social calendar and feeling really optimistic about all these like really fun projects or really fun tasks or really fun, honestly not tasks, but it's like events and things like that. Like I feel like you guys are not just left to your own devices. You're having a lot of support emotionally with Jupiter in the 5th and from others. Yeah, like look, the 4 of Wands. This is all about celebration and enjoyment and harmony, and that's what I feel like. Like I see if you had a breakup, you know, going to someone like your best friend's wedding, which might be a little triggering, but or going to like somebody's party or someone's house. It's just, I feel like you creating something that feels like home to you, but then also having all these beautiful opportunities around you in your external world and your life and your events and social calendar to support that process of you feeling at home in this new life, if that makes sense. The Knight of Wands also, so if some of you guys are interested in maybe meeting other kinds of people or like even a romantic partner, this could be an indicator of something that's really like passionate, someone coming towards you that has a completely different dynamic, or this could be you feeling really passionate about these new projects in your life and these new ideas that you have, especially these new ideas with the Page of Swords. Or if this is a person, it could be initial conversations and communication with this new person. So that's pretty much all I have for you, but I'm gonna pull 2 more cards. I got the Rose Quartz. This is about love. This is about self-love. I'm gonna read the definition, but definitely makes a lot of sense given this reading is so much about relationships. Rose Quartz comes to remind you of your unwavering worthiness and help you rediscover self-love and acceptance. So a lot about this, like a lot about the situation that you're leaving behind, whether it's a person or something else that you're involved in, ultimately it's giving way for more space for you in your life to practice your, like to really cultivate your relationship with yourself. Not that you weren't doing that before, but I think that through this process of letting go, you'll discover even a more profound sense of self-love, because you will be the primary person responsible for taking care of all of your needs and healing yourself. And I feel like it's just going to make you more confident, more loving, more self-assured. You are deserving of all of life's bountiful blessings and abundance in all forms. In other words, you're fly as hell. Allow the reassuring energy of Rose Quartz to reach into your soul and resolve any feelings and negativity you feel towards yourself. You're not just seeing your unique brand of magic clearly, because if you were, you'd recognize how freaking incredible you are. In fact, you're the only person who can't see it. Rose Quartz is a master of heart opening and allows you to face any icky feels you've been harboring towards your precious self so you can finally kick low self-esteem to the curb once and for all. All right, this new moon might help you also see where you may have had a little bit of, you know, a lack of self-love through your decision making or your lack of belief in yourself. Like, it can come up in little insidious ways. And with the Knight of Swords and Seven of Swords reverse, I feel like that is going to show you again, like, enlightenment and greater clarity and understanding about yourself, and maybe where that was, where lack of worthiness was leading you to stay in some kind of situation that didn't have the potential for you to reach your highest potential. And then I also pulled the 9th house, which is all about having faith and hope. And I feel like this is reassurance from the universe that even if this situation hasn't resolved itself yet or hasn't fully played out yet, there is something to be said for believing that it's going to have the highest possible outcome and that the universe is working in your best interest, because that's exactly what I see here. This is a liberation that's helping you find so much self-satisfaction and so much growth. And I think that once you kind of cut ties with this old chapter or reimagine this old chapter, it's going to allow you to have so much lightness and clarity and self-love and success in the next one. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Scorpio rising. If this resonates, please let me know by liking, commenting down below. I love to read all of your comments. And if you want to learn astrology, you should check out my membership, the North Node Society. Tonight we have a call on human design, which is super fun. And then we're going to have a call on Uranus this month and some other things going on that's going to be super fun. So if that interests you, definitely check that out in the description box below. And if you want astrology or tarot reading, that's there for you too. So I hope you have a good day. Bye. All right, up next we have my beautiful Sagittarius rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 3rd house of siblings, travel, busyness, communication, thinking, education, things like that. So, I mean, you guys, I feel like, have been going through it in terms of really redefining how you want to interact with the world. And this might not be something that you're always conscious of, because that's kind of something that, I don't know, maybe you're conscious of it, I don't know. But, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like there's some kind of perspective shift that you've been going through. The South Node is no longer in your sign, but it was in your sign for all of 2021. And whenever the South Node is in your sign, it's like you're forced to face, deal with, and release certain aspects of yourself. And I think for a lot of you guys, I mean, Sagittarius, the South Node Sagittarius is a lot about our beliefs and adhering to our beliefs in maybe a little bit of a dogmatic way. And so I think that you guys have had to do a lot of assessment of not only your, like, what beliefs you have, how much you actually stick to those beliefs, how you communicate about that, how you interact with others who believe different things, and a lot about just like thinking, communication, interacting. And so it's just kind of been a lot in the mental plane for you all. And so I think that you're going through a new beginning here, like we all are, since it's a new moon. And with Saturn, it's like almost asking us to become more serious or responsible about the way that we share information. How is this affecting people? Or what do I want to learn about? Like, not just sharing information, but ingesting information as well. So Saturn asks us, like I said, to step up in some level of commitment or responsibility to that area of our life. So if there are communication issues that you've had, or if there's something that you want to study more, or if you've been having certain clashes with certain people, this is a time in which, or if you need to even identify like what you believe and why you're here, and more philosophical things as well. All those things can kind of be worked on right now. Okay. The new moon is also squaring Uranus in the 6th house. So I feel like some of these things can really pertain to your work, specifically your job or like your daily tasks that you have to do, some responsibilities that you have. It's like reimagining them, thinking about them differently, and also communicating. Like if you're working together with people on something, communicating with them differently or trying to understand them differently is important as well, because the 6th house is all about our coworkers and even like hierarchies, like your bosses, and how you kind of navigate certain dynamics. And with this Emperor card, it's interesting because I feel like Sagittarius is always the one that's the hardest for me to get out. And I think it's because my North Node is there, so it's the least clear for me, and I think it has to just evolve over time. But anywho, with the square with Uranus, you guys might even be asked to like approach your work differently based off of these changes in your mind or communication style. Or maybe you guys have like a lot of things on your plate and you have to like approach your work differently or change something, or even maybe remove some tasks and start some other tasks. There is like this element of reorganizing, but in a really like disciplined and structured way, because Saturn is there, and especially structured and disciplined with your mind. So like, how am I going to schedule this? But then how am I going to think about it? What am I going to engage in? Like, how does it affect me mentally? Like, am I going to go on social media in the morning? Am I not going to do that because this affects my day negatively and I have so much to do and I want to be productive? So it's thinking a lot about things in like a very practical, kind of mundane level at this new moon. Like, how can I reorganize and structure certain aspects of my life? And I think it's going to maybe even give some of you an opportunity to have new things come in terms of like new responsibilities. So maybe you get a new job, or you take on another job, or you decide that you want to start this new project, or you want to do this work around the house. It's like, or you even decide to take care of someone or get a new pet. It's like you're having some kind of beginning, but it's this structure, the discipline, the masculine, that's energetically opening up the doorway for this new beginning, this new thing to come in. Because if your life was already completely full and cluttered and a mess, this new thing, this new responsibility doesn't have space to come in. So I think a lot of you are either realizing you want to take something on, you're like, oh shit, I better get my ish together. Or you decide to get your ish together, and then it creates space for some new exciting responsibility to come in for you, to learn more about and to dedicate a lot to. With Saturn conjunct the moon in the 3rd, it's like a lot of mental, fortitude. It's like you have to be really mentally stable and clear, and it takes a lot of mental energy, if that makes sense. So in that sense, you have to have some kind of structure for yourself in your day and for your mind to be able to have the capacity to like pick up something that takes more mental energy. Because one thing to be just physical energy, but like mental energy and physical energy, that's like a whole new level. You guys also have Mercury conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in the 2nd house, so maybe some of what you're taking on, you know, especially with the square with Uranus in the 6th, is a responsibility that brings you more money. Or at the minimum, you are thinking a lot more about money and like security and really practical things like that. You could also be kind of thinking deeply about like self-worth and your beliefs about money, and how you might have been limiting yourself there, especially with the North Node now in Taurus. That's all really coming under the microscope for all of us. Like, we're all really examining our relationship with resources and security and our worthiness, and that's just getting started. And with Venus and Mars also in Capricorn conjunct in the 2nd house, you might even be able to, first of all, be really motivated to like go out and find more money, and maybe again take on more responsibility to do that. I feel like you're going to be on board, but you also might have the possibility of finding new financial resources through your connections. So definitely look at that for you. And it could be specifically like work connections, or it could indicate like a change in your job or something shifting in your responsibilities on the daily that is going to lead to greater finances, which is really exciting. So, okay. I'm just trying to think. There's some cards that I haven't talked about yet. You guys also have Mars in the second house, sextiling Jupiter in the fourth. So I feel like your family or your home life is really supporting you, or maybe you've just been feeling much more at home with yourself, much more optimistic, feel more grounded, and like you have more potential right now, or you're open to that potential. I just feel like your ruling planet, Jupiter, in the fourth house is like this. I mean, the fourth house is like our root system. It's what grounds us into the earth and makes us feel stable and confident and secure. And Jupiter is like watering the roots and making sure it's sustained. And so I feel like you guys are coming from a really good place, and that's why you're able to take on more responsibilities, get more serious about things, and start to really dig your heels into this new like financial thing, and and your worthiness and how much money you want to make and your long-term goals and things like that. Okay. I pulled the Ten of Swords and the Hanged Man, so this is kind of where I was thinking a lot about you changing your like certain ways that you think about things. Ten of Swords are about definitive endings, and the Hanged Man is creating a new perspective. So I definitely feel like with Saturn in the third house, you are being asked to create an ending to one thought pattern and a start to another thought pattern, or the way that you perceive something. So if you perceived responsibility in one way before, like after this new moon, you might perceive responsibility in another way. You might view this job or this way of making money completely differently because you have different values. With Venus retrograde, we've all looked at our values. You have different just thoughts about money in general. And I think because of that, your beliefs and your behavior is changing accordingly. Okay. Before I get to the next two cards, I want to talk about this stilbite. I don't know if I pronounced any of the names of these crystals right, but that's okay, I guess. Okay. You are profoundly intuitive, and your psychic gifts only grow stronger under the glimmer of stilbite. Okay. This, I think, is linked to Jupiter in the fourth house. We're going to talk more about that. The visions and dreams. Okay, I was literally going to talk about dreams. You hold for your future are the real deal, and are being delivered to you directly by the divine. Stilbite has been sent to you as an ethereal emissary to embolden you to pursue intuitive insights with a courageous and faithful heart. Stilbite stimulates your creative and passionate centers of the sacral and heart chakras to awaken your vision and allow you to consciously co-create your reality with spirit. Okay, so not only do I have this, but I have the 12th house, which is all about Neptune, Pisces energy, dreams, intuition, divine downloads, our connection with spirit. So with Jupiter transiting your fourth house, and Jupiter, your ruling planet, now in Pisces, the dreamiest, one of the most intuitive signs, I do feel like you guys are unlocking a lot of potential in terms of psychic or intuitive abilities, or even creative abilities. And I think a lot of it could come through dreams, because that's what Pisces is about. That's what 12th house is about. So I do think that you guys have a lot of potential to get these divine messages through your dreams. So keep a dream journal by your bed. And for the next year, I want you guys to write down everything that you remember. Maybe wake up like a few minutes earlier than you would, so you can catch yourself in dream state, so that you can write things down. Because I think that the divine will be trying to speak to you and talking to you about your next path, and maybe even how you can cultivate some more abundance in your life. And then lastly, with the Scorpio transform card, I feel like this is a lot about you guys transforming the way that you look at things. Let's pull a card. Yeah, with the Devil, I feel like you guys could have been just really limiting yourself in terms of like finances, because maybe you had like worthiness things going on, or you viewed money a certain way. I don't know. I just feel like you guys are up leveling in your work and your finances, and you're ending these like old patterns that told yourself that you couldn't do something. And you're like, oh, okay, I actually can, and I'm going to take up on more responsibilities or more clients. I'm going to make more money because I actually can. This devil card was telling me I can't, but I can. And Scorpio is allowing you to transform this and release any of those any of that self-doubt, because it was a lie. You know, it was all a lie. And the Ten of Swords and Hangman helps you see that it was a lie and helps you see the truth. So that's what I have for you, Sag. If this resonates, please let me know by liking and commenting down below. I love reading all of your comments. And if you want to learn astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society. Today we are doing a really fun call, and then we're also having some on Uranus. And I don't know, we're just having so many great things that we're learning from each other. So if you are interested in deep diving into your chart and understanding your purpose, then definitely check it out. Linked in the description box below. And if you want an astrology reading where it's all done for you, I can totally do that too. Tarot, that kind of thing, that is also in the description box below. Have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have my beautiful Capricorn risings. So this new moon in Aquarius is hitting your second house of finances and security. And we just had the North Node recently move into Taurus, which is very much in alignment with having a new moon in the second house. So I definitely think it's reevaluating your values, what you spend money on, how you make money, your self-worth, and how you might be attracting or pushing away certain opportunities because of that. And it might even be a time in which you start to look at your certain skill sets and how you've been cultivating them or not cultivating them, and maybe even like past dreams or past wishes or past projects that you've kind of worked on and then put down or kind of thought about and then never fully pursued. I just get a feeling that you guys are going to have some of those things kind of come up for you to reopen and possibly make money from. I guess it kind of feels like there are certain opportunities that weren't fully juiced out of like the fruit wasn't fully juiced, you know? And so I think that that's going to come back around. So let's pull some cards for you guys. You also Saturn in the second house conjunct this moon. So it is possible that you guys might be getting really disciplined with your finances, creating a budget. You might feel the sense of lack, which can create a little bit of urgency, especially with that square to Uranus in the fifth house. We're starting to look at how you're going out and your social life and the things that you enjoy doing, and even your dating life could be affecting you financially, and kind of reevaluating that and being ready to maybe make some changes in that area of your life so that you can have a greater sense of freedom and happiness. And if there is like if there are like dating and romance and things like that in your life that take away from your sense of self-worth and confidence, that's also something you could be reevaluating. If you have certain projects that you want to work on or pursue that seem really fun, but you're not sure how it's going to like pan out financially. I know I keep saying that for you guys, but that's just something that I keep seeing. That might be something that you're really looking at right now too. I don't know. I just see like, it's funny because I'm like reevaluating and like deciding things, and I pull the Two of Swords. It's just this energy of like uncertainty and needing to make a certain decision. Like, do I want to keep on with that? Do I want to change that? Do I want to bring this thing back? You know, you're at crossroads. You're at crossroads. So lots of important decisions to make, especially about finances, because the card that follows that was the Knight of Pentacles, and because this new moon is happening in your second house. You know what? What's going to bring security and stability for you? That's a really big question with Saturn here. What is the responsible thing that can bring you security and stability and confidence? And with Uranus, squaring Uranus in the fifth house, how can you at the same time pursue, like make changes to your life? Because you're not just pursuing security for the sake of security. you also need to equally pursue the things that make you happy. And with the square with Uranus in the 5th house, it's challenging you at every crossroads to ask yourself, is this really fulfilling me? Is this really authentic to me? That's what the 5th house is. It's the most authentic house we can get, besides the 1st. You know, how is what I'm doing in the external world an expression of who I am internally? And is it in alignment? If I am someone else internally and someone else at home than I am when I'm with my friends or at work or with a partner, then there is a mismatch. So it's all about having alignment with what brings you joy and lights you up and feels authentic, with what also brings you security and stability. And these things are squaring each other, which means there is a level of conflict here that needs a creative solution and change in order to resolve. And I think it's probably giving you anxiety to take a leap of faith, or if it's not taking a leap of faith, doing something new, completely new. Because we have the Knight of Pentacles here, which is somebody who's working hard on what they already are doing. It's keeping up what you're already doing. But then there is this brand new beginning with the Fool. And before it is a Two of Swords. So it's like you're choosing between keeping up with what you've always done and what you're currently doing, and having this brand new beginning, this new start, and kind of like throwing something away. I do think some of you guys this new beginning could be something from the past as well. It doesn't just have to be something brand new, but it's this decision is causing you anxiety, is what I'm seeing here. But you need to venture towards both security and fulfillment. So just write that down. You guys also have Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn in your 1st house. And I pulled the 9 of Wands, the Devil, and the Page of Swords. Mercury and Pluto can create a lot of worry and anxious thinking, but it also helps us understand what the truth is about something. And right now, it's in the 1st house of the self, so it's the truth about you, what you need, who you are, where you're going, what the fuck is going on. And I feel like you are you're tired of your own thoughts. Like you're literally tiring yourself out with your brain right now. With 9 of Wands and the Devil. And I feel like you might be going in circles. With the Devil card, you might be repeating these stories about like what's possible for you, or like things about yourself that are negative and probably not even true. I feel like you're just, I got this visual of you like spinning this web, this like spider spinning this web, and you're just getting fucking tangled up in it. But it's funny because you're human. And at any moment you have the strength to just shed the web, pull it off of you, and have a new mindset about things. But I think a lot of you are choosing to think a certain type of way again and again and weave yourself in this web of self-doubt and lies and self-deprecation and depression and anxiety and self-criticalness. It's just all of the darkness. But like, and I think you feel trapped, but it's not reality. It's not reality, because after that you have the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords is able to change her mind in a second. She knows how to adapt. She knows how to put herself in any situation and rise to the occasion. And this is you guys. So I think that you guys have this possibility to shed those layers that you started to weave around yourself, and have this curiosity and thirst to explore who you are more, and to not come at yourself with all these definitions and expectations and restrictions. Like, just being curious about yourself and what you like. You know, like, I don't have to have all the answers right now. I can just explore what feels good. You know, I can just take a chance on this thing, on this new beginning. I can just decide to believe this new thing because I want to believe it. So that's what's available to you with Mercury and Pluto in your first. You have the opportunity to transmute Pluto energy, these negative thought cycles, Mercury and Capricorn in your first house. You also have Venus and Mars in your first house, making a trine to Uranus in the fifth. So if there were ever a time to start this new beginning here, especially if it involves creativity, because Venus is a creative planet, the arts, this is your time. Venus and Mars in your sign in the first house, Venus direct, you have the masculine and the feminine with all their support, with all their energy, doing everything they can to help you, to help liberate you with this trine with Uranus in the fifth house, to help you connect to your soul and what feels good to you, and to deliver you to that new destination, to that new beginning. So if you're like, I don't know if I can do it, you can do it. And I just pulled the Page of Cups. Some of you guys, this might be a new relationship coming in that's much more aligned. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It can be opening up to, honestly, with all this energy, with Pluto there as well, it can be you opening up to like creative gifts, psychic abilities, dreams. Let me actually read Page of Cups so you can get the full thing. Trustworthiness, generosity, intuition, developing psychic abilities, originality, which is all fifth house. It's what makes me me. That's what these planets, Venus and Mars, are your two, and Mercury, these are your personal planets. They define us. They define who we are, our character, our personality, our desires. And they're in your first house helping you really dig in and understand, what do I want and what makes me me? And how can I express that in my most original, authentic form? That is a new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about us flying our freak flag. Altered states of consciousness, creative opportunities, possibility, sensitivity, curiosity, dream interpretation, and working with your guides and guardians. So those are the new beginnings opening up for you with Venus and Mars conjunct trining Uranus in the fifth house. If any of those things interest you, the doors are wide open. Just walk through. You also have Mars in the first trining Jupiter in the fifth. So I do feel like this is you transitioning with the Six of Swords, especially with this Page of Swords, into a different kind of thought pattern. Mars in the first is saying, nah, bro, like, let's not continue to think that way, because that's not helping, and that's not really true, because it's next to the devil. So it's making you much more optimistic. It's also helping you reach for new horizons. Maybe some of you will travel. Maybe some of you will move. Maybe some of you realize that your new beginning isn't where you are, and you have to literally go out into the world and collect new experiences, go to new places, learn new things in order to facilitate that new beginning. There is a leaving behind of what's known in some way, metaphorically or physically, whatever. You have to leave behind what's known and venture into the new. And the third house is all about interacting with your environment to pick up information to further your knowledge and wisdom down a certain path. So you have that potential all laid out for you right now. Let me wrap up by pulling two cards, one of them being from the Astrology deck. Part of Fortune Increase. Don't worry about money, you guys. This new moon is in your second house. Your financial security is being backed by this moon. You have so much financial potential with this. You can take this new beginning and work hard and be disciplined with your money. Don't be spendthrift, and you can reach financial success. Clear quartz. This is all about getting clarity. So I feel like what this new moon is giving you is clarity about how you want to move forward. And it started off with the Two Swords, which is indecision and not knowing what to do next, a fork in the road. And it ended with clarity. So I don't know how to wrap that up better in a little bow for you guys. I think that was perfect. I am very excited for you, Capricorn risings. I love you. If you liked this, please let me know by liking and commenting down below. And if you want an astrology reading, you can check, or tarot reading, you can check that out in the description box below. More importantly, if you want to learn astrology, I have a membership called the North Node Society. I have a whole astrology course in there. Today, we are doing a call on human design, and in the coming weeks, we're going to do a whole workshop on Uranus, which is going to be super interesting. We're going to look at it in your charts and everything. So if that interests you, then definitely check that out, also in the description box below. And I hope you have a dope ass day. Bye. All right. Up next, we have Aquarius rising. For you guys, this new moon is happening in your sign, which means it's happening in your first house. So, oh man, you guys, this is a big deal. Even if you're an Aquarius sun, it's a big deal regardless. And whichever house your sun is in is going to mean that that's where this new moon is taking place. But it's a really big new beginning for you in your life. And I do feel like it's going to be one that unfolds slowly. Normally new moons, we really see the height of their energy in the first 2 weeks. But because this new moon is conjunct Saturn, I just have the feeling, the god of time, I just have this feeling that it's all longevity. Like it's going to be like unfolding all of 2022. It's a start of the year. And maybe a lot of it will kind of, maybe the major events will resolve itself early. But I feel like the themes, especially for you happening in your first house, the themes that are established now, that are important now, I do think that they will carry over for the entire year. I just pulled a Two of Wands, which is all about thinking long-term and planning. So I think that's kind of reiterating exactly what I'm saying. Oh, Page of Swords. So you guys might be really establishing a new life path for yourself. The first house is our identity and our purpose and our physical body. Oh. Wow. And I just feel like you guys are going to reach new levels of success and happiness. Wow, I wish I had these cards. Wow. So many beautiful things. 6 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Page of Cups, 4 of Wands, King of Pentacles. Every single card is a good card. I like that we end with the 4 of Pentacles because ultimately this moon is making a square to Uranus in the 4th house, which is challenging your sense of stability. What made you feel stable before? What made you feel at home? What made you feel emotionally, financially, mentally secure? Because whatever it is has become habitual and needs to change. And you need to change. With Saturn in your first house on this new moon, you have to put effort into creating a new life for yourself and change some of these patterns and things that have become stagnant and old and, like I said, habitual. This is a reinvention period in so many ways, but you're not just doing it blindly. You have the 2 of Wands. You're doing this strategically. Saturn is on this moon. It's done with discipline, responsibility, thinking of long-term consequences, knowing truly that that's something in your best interest, but being ready to adapt and change and break out of these old habits with Uranus there whenever you need to. It is a square between the moon and Saturn and Uranus, so there is some element of tension, which is indicating that change is necessary, but also change is uncomfortable. So it's not going to just happen. It has to come at your own hand. It has to come at effort, and it will take time. And it might take time to get right because Saturn squares Uranus most of 2022. But it's also squaring in 2021, but this time it's separating, which means it's getting easier and easier with time. Okay. I definitely feel like you guys are coming into a period where you're going to reach new levels of financial security and success. I feel like you guys are coming into this sense of discipline and masculine energy and working hard for really long-term goals. And I do think you're going to achieve a lot of success and feel really great about those goals and have a lot to celebrate. but it comes at a price of being able to do this internal work, because the world around you isn't going to just shift. You have Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn in your 12th house conjunct. You guys, the 12th house is the last house of the zodiac before planets are reborn into your first house. So Mercury is going to move into your first house. Venus and Mars, also in your 12th house, are going to move into your first house, and you will be a person redefined. You will be reborn into the world as a new person. But what happens is you have to first die off. So with Mercury and Pluto in the 12th, you are definitely re-examining some of these old habits, self-sabotaging, ways of feeling small, anything that you need to go within to really sort out. All those things are coming up for you. And hopefully you will gain some clarity at this time around what those mean so you can release them. I pulled the Garnet card. This comes as a warning of approaching trouble. Things aren't clear right now in the situation you're asking about, and you can't see the full picture. You may be getting a little ahead of yourself. Garnet asks you to not be foolish in thinking you know it all. You don't have it under control as you'd hoped. The universe has your back. Odds are your intuition has been screaming at you, but you've chosen to ignore the red flags. Worry not, though. Garnet always shows up just in time to caution you. With this fortunately timed foresight, you can turn a seeming obstacle into an opportunity. Ask some clarifying questions and proceed carefully to avoid pesky pitfalls. You've got this now that you're armed with knowledge. So this is a warning card. A warning card about not seeing things entirely clearly. And actually the 12th house is the house of the unseen, of the hidden. And with Mercury and Pluto there can be a lot underneath the surface that is unseen. And so some of that stuff might be coming up, though, to the surface. And this Garnet card, I think, is telling you that even when that's coming up to the surface, there's still stuff that you can't see. And I don't think it's so much telling you that there's something to worry about. I feel like it's telling you that, you know, you're trying to plan, you're trying to create this future, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of unknown factors, and it's not going to plan out as you'd hoped or originally thought. It's going to pan out, I think, great, but it's not what you were planning. It's like God's plan. Let me read this other card, and then I think that will give us more insight. This one is Rhodonite. This is a queen when it comes to healing relationships, rifts, and estrangements. This heart chakra stone helps to balance emotions and awaken unconditional love and compassion within you. Every situation demands a different approach to healing, and Rhodonite will help you find the perfect medicine for this experience. Even though it's a hard pill to swallow, in truth, everyone does the best they can with what they have. And this will help you see everyone through the eyes of the angels. When your heart is softened, it's easier to see things as they are and resolve any dividing disunity. So I mean, Venus retrograde in your 12th house was probably a little bit brutal. Could have led to some estrangements with people, distance, separation, and that might actually be where some of this lack of clarity is coming from as well, is like how to maybe move forward in the situation, if that's the case. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there for now. So I really feel like you guys are, I feel like I'm reading a lot for what's in the future and not totally just in this, for this new moon, because I'm just getting this like really long-term vision for you guys. So just bear with me. With this Two of Wands and this Page of Swords, I really feel like this is saying that you guys are having these brand new ideas come in, and you're starting to plan and reorganize and have like you're willing to act on certain things that are new in your life, but maybe also planning things that already exist. And then after that, you have the Six of Wands and the Three of Wands, which I feel like is saying that if you take this journey and if you act on some of these ideas, they might not all work, but there are going to be some that stick. There are going to be some that really pan out for you and give you a level of achievement or success that you've been looking for, especially as Venus and Mars move into your first house. And then in relationships, I feel like that first one is more so about career and your long-term goals for the future. In relationships, you have the Page of Cups, Four of Wands, King of Pentacles. So I do kind of feel like maybe there was some rifts or some instability or some uncertainty about certain relationships. And now with this new moon, it's becoming more solidified. Venus and Mars are in Capricorn in your 12th, trining Uranus in the 4th. So it's signifying that there is like some changes within you that are going to help stabilize these relationships some more. It could even be changes to like dynamics within the home that help create more stability. So like, let's say everyone was working and living at home. Well, like now maybe someone goes into the office and it's like the tension diffuses. There's just some element of having freedom and space in the relationship or in whatever dynamic that creates feelings of fondness again. And also Venus is direct, so that, you know, and Venus is with Mars, which motivates someone to want to unite. So I feel like the Page of Cups is like a new emotional beginning for you. The Four of Wands is within the home, or feeling confident within the home, having shifts within the home. And then, which is, again, that trine with Uranus in the 4th. And the King of Pentacles is having solidity, that strong foundation that you can lean on in those relationships and feeling good again, feeling like it's not rocky anymore. So this Garnet card was next to it. I feel like, again, this Garnet card was maybe representing things that you didn't see clearly before. Like Venus was retrograde. All of our minds were just like out of whack. It doesn't mean that that relationship or that family member or that person wasn't like, is not meant to be in your life. It's just like the delusion of that period of time that we had to face. And this Rhodonite is helping reestablish or reaffirm these relationships so that you can heal them now, because it's just not like what you were seeing before just wasn't clear. It wasn't true. And you guys also have a 6th house routine, 2nd house owning card. I feel like this is telling you that your finances have a lot of potential to increase this year. And that message seems pretty simple. I mean, you got the King of Pentacles, you got the 6 of Wands, you got the 2nd house. I mean, you are encouraged to like go after whatever it is you have your eyes on right now, because it does have a lot of potential for success. The 6th house routine card to me is telling me that there does need to be shifts in yourself and how you approach your day-to-day life in order to manifest that as a reality. You can't just expect those financial successes to happen. This is a moon conjunct Saturn, which means there is a lot of effort that needs to be applied, which is 6th house energy. Daily tasks, responsibilities, a regimen, a schedule, productivity, efficiency, hard work. But to me, the long-term vision here is that you have a lot of potential for success, both in your relationships and your career. And I think the relationships are more immediate. I think you'll be feeling that kind of right away and be feeling good. The career thing, I think, is more long-term. But whatever ideas are coming now have potential. And they are also going to help you grow and push yourself, which is exactly what this new moon is about in your first house. So that is what I have for you, Aquarius rising. If it resonates, please let me know by liking, commenting down below. And I love your comments. If they mean so much to me, just to be able to read them. If you want an astrology reading, you can check that out in my description box. I also offer tarot readings. And even more importantly, if you want to learn astrology for yourself, I have an entire membership with a course in there. And this month we are covering the topic of Uranus. We're doing a workshop on that. And we also have a lot more content in there for you to dive into right away. So if that interests you, definitely check that out in my description box below. And I hope you guys have a beautiful new moon. Bye. All right. And lastly, or up next, I should say, we have my beautiful Pisces. So Pisces is on my descendant, which, if you know anything about astrology, is the cusp or the beginning of the 7th house of relationships. And these tend to be the people that you attract. So I have Pisces and Aries in there, and I cannot even tell you how many Pisces, Aries people I attract. It's like kind of insane. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your 12th house of endings. So let's see what's going on there with that. You also have Saturn conjunct this moon, which is, Saturn is also a planet of endings. So I am curious to see how that will unfold for you guys. It's also squaring Uranus in the 3rd. So I feel like this ending is really, like, if there are endings, I shouldn't presume that they're going to be endings, but it's weird to have a new moon with a planet and a house about endings, you know, because new moons are all about beginnings, plans, future, but it's like sometimes, okay, we got the moon. Sometimes we got to have endings to have a new beginning, right? The moon also is representative of the 12th house, the subconscious, the hidden, the emotions within that we don't really know where they come from. So this makes a lot of sense to have a new moon in the 12th and have the moon card come out. So we're going to talk more about that in a second. The moon is about things hidden from us, as well as the subconscious or unconscious. So I definitely feel like that is at the forefront of this new cycle for you. We also have the Hermit, which is about going within. And the 12th house is the house of isolation, where we go within the most. It's when you're alone, you go within. And then Temperance, which is about healing. And there's an angel on here, and I feel like the 12th house is really about the spiritual divine connection that we have with our angels, our guides, our ancestors passed on that help us. So you guys are going through some like deep internal journey. And then the 3 of Cups. Interesting. A deep internal journey for sure. So maybe no endings because it is a new moon. But maybe there is some deeper self-exploration happening. Maybe some of you, there were endings that happened previously that caused this exploration. But that might not be the case. I definitely feel like you guys are given the opportunity to open up to an immense amount of like intuitive guidance or even almost like psychic abilities. Aquarius is quite psychic, actually. The modern ruler is Uranus, which is linked with like these psychic downloads that come in like spurts, you know, like these genius awakenings in a way. And I definitely feel like that's at arm's length for you guys, or like you can reach it, but Saturn is on this moon, which means there's effort required. Hermit has to journey into his soul, into his mind, in order to actually discover what's there. It's not just presented to him. He's taking his light. He's walking down. He's going within. So there is some level of needing to meet the universe halfway. And you can cultivate so much self-understanding. The Hermit is illuminating what is darkened by the moon. So you guys are having a lot of your unconscious or your fears or your past or anything that's been hidden from you. Any of that is being illuminated right now. And it's creating an immense opportunity for healing, which is going to have you much lighter and brighter for the time ahead with this 3 of Cups. Much lighter and brighter for the time ahead. Let me pull another card for you guys. You guys also have this moon squaring Uranus in the 3rd house. So definitely whatever you're discovering is giving you, like, it's coming to your conscious mind. But I also think it's giving you a chance to like perceive yourself differently in your life. It could also indicate having breakthroughs in conversation with people. It's just, I just see like enlightenment and awakening to certain parts of yourself at this time. All right, we've got the Herkimer crystal. I know my camera's still overexposed, but I'm too lazy to get up and change it again. Okay, Herkimer. Through the clarity of Herkimer, it's easy to see yourself as you truly are. What are we talking about with this Hermit card? That's what I'm saying. With the 12th house, you are being illuminated. You're being invited to stop striving to become anyone else other than yourself. There's nothing to fix, change, or become. Desiring to be anyone but yourself is a tragic waste of your unique brand of magic and splendor. Herkimer opens your crown chakra. Crown chakra is definitely the crown and the third eye are definitely the most spiritual chakras in terms of connecting to your guides, which is what you have available to you, like I said. Opens your crown chakra to help you see that you are divine child of the cosmos. Exactly. That's the 12th house. We are one with all of consciousness. We are divine. So I think it's illuminating some of these shadows of where you might feel like you aren't enough or you're not good as who you are and you need to change, you need to be different. Any of those things, because Aquarius energy is the repressed part of your chart being in the 12th house. It's the hidden part of you. And Aquarius energy is all about us being unique, standing out, flying our freak flag, but it's in your 12th house. So this is somewhat repressed. So you are unlocking this message within you where you're starting to realize and open up to and own your unique magic. That's so beautiful and so healing. And that's why with the trine to Uranus in the 3rd house, or square to Uranus in the 3rd house, is giving you the opportunity to just look at yourself completely differently. Crafted with care from stardust to be exactly who you are. Your creation was no mistake, and you're meant to share your one-of-a-kind soul with this world. Only you can do what you do. Additionally, Herkimer also encourages you to simply be easy in your existence. This is also the 12th house. Surrendering, accepting, falling into the universe, trusting that you're held, making life easier by not fighting or resisting anything, accepting. Nothing that you wear or own, no place that you go, and no one that you date will help you become more of yourself than you already are and can be. Stop hunting for the perfect self. You are already your perfect self. Wow. I have chills, you guys. That is so beautiful. And I feel like as you own that, as you accept that, as you realize that during this new moon, you are going to just open up to new levels of joy, celebration, healing, happiness. Feels so light. Saturn return, age. You know what happens at age 30 is our Saturn return. And what we tend to do is we tend to look at everyone around us. And we're like, oh my God, this person's married. This person has a child. This person has a house and a successful company, or they work in this place and they're super successful. And why am I not there yet? And it's like this pressure. And we're just thrown into this pressure cooker of feeling like we're not good enough. We're not where we need to be. And this moon conjunct Saturn gives a strong element of time associated with it. Us feeling like we're behind, especially with the square to Uranus, is this like desire to move quickly, but then it's like a stumbling block after stumbling block, a delay after delay. So this card is telling me that you guys might be doing a little bit of comparison where you feel like you're not where you need to be in life. You want to be further, you want to get ahead, and you are getting down on yourself unnecessarily. And this new moon is coming to wake you up and accept the divine timing, surrender to the process of the universe, because there is a purpose and intention in it, and allow yourself to accept you for all of who you are and where you're at and your unique and divine gifts, and Love yourself for who you are. Taking some of that pressure off, even though it is Saturn right on this moon, which I've been telling everyone, responsibility, pressure, blah, blah, blah. That's really your only responsibility right now, is to go within and take time alone. Make sure that you really actually do this, because it's not just going to come to you. It needs space, and you have to intentionally carve out that space in your life to reach this understanding of yourself and your connection to the universe. So it has to come from effort, but it doesn't need to be discipline like everyone else. It doesn't need to be hard work. It needs to be surrender. You've probably worked hard enough. You've probably worked hard enough with the Saturn return card, working hard and just not where you want to be. But I'm loving this Three of Cups energy, you guys. This is a heavy celebration energy, enjoying your friends, enjoying your community, feeling like you are supported and loved. And you have Mercury and Pluto in the 11th house, which is opening you up to really deep, powerful conversations with people. Very influential conversations as well if you want to create certain contacts, persuade people to help you with certain things. This is your time for sure. Venus conjunct Mars in Capricorn in the 11th house is also creating highly socialized energy. You're going to want to be out. You're going to want to be doing things. But that's why you have to commit to making this space for yourself, to go within and have time alone. But also go out, do both. Just make time for both. Because with Venus and Mars in 11th, your relationships are a place of solace, of uplifting energy, of positivity. And the healing that you're doing on your own is going to help you connect even more profoundly with others, because you're not going to have all these layers separating you from this person, where maybe it was jealousy, maybe it was resentment, maybe it was not understanding them. It's like all those things kind of fall away when you see that you are a divine conscious being, they are a divine conscious being, and you're all on your own paths trying to figure it out. And with Venus and Mars in 11th, it's also trining Uranus in the 3rd. I feel like these realizations are liberating you, and it's helping you communicate in this way that's so free and so happy and so easy. And I think your mind is just going to be going, like, it's just going to be filled with all these, like, social plans and these, like, activities and time of celebration. I think it's just going to feel really good. Mars in 11th is also sextile Jupiter in the 1st. So this community is so uplifting to you, is so healing for you. And there's a lot of potential for these people and these connections to maybe one day help you grow as a person in some capacity of your life. Maybe career, maybe personally, maybe in your relationships. These connections that you make now are not just connections. They have the potential to not only be the Three of Cups, but to be catalysts for growth and to be here in the potential long term. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Pisces. This seems really beautiful, and I hope that you enjoy this time. Forget what I said at the beginning about endings. It is not about endings. It is about you coming home to yourself and the universe and connecting to that. And if you want to learn astrology, I recommend checking out my membership. I don't know why I blanked on that name. The North Node Society, linked in the description box below. We are covering a human design call tonight and Uranus this month, as well as possibly adding in some Q&A calls around people's charts and kind of anything that they have questions about, obviously. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check that out in the description box below. And if you want it done for you, you want an astrology reading or a tarot reading, that's also in the description box below. And I hope you guys have a bomb-ass day. Bye.